And we're live. Whoa, you're kidding me. 2 days in a row? Morpheus, how's it going, man? How you doing? Oh, I'm so cooked. Nagato, Gilgamesh, how's it going, man? Morning, Queen, how's it going, guys? Sorry about that. I don't know what the fuck this yellow is. Just got back from skating with my friends. Oh, nice. Okay, how was your birthday, Nagato? I could just continue reading. Queen, you have to slow down. I'm never going to catch up to you otherwise. God damn it. William Howard Taft. Draft. How you guys doing this fine morning, afternoon, night, evening? I don't know. I'm on like... What do you mean only? You're ahead by 300 chapters. That's huge. 300 chapters takes me like 20 days to read. No, you're at like 800 something. So you're like 880 or something. That's good, Nagato. Actually, I'm gonna open my window. It's nice weather outside. That's awesome. Good for you, Nagato. I'm glad. How old did you turn, if you don't mind me asking? You're a kid, so you shouldn't mind. Chapter 885? 900? How do you mind? Graft. That's actually not bad. It doesn't have a R, but there's still 5 hour... 17. Okay, fine. You can be mod for this stream too. Fine. I am nothing if not generous. So, TA something F. You finally surpassed. Yes, I know. We're ahead by like 2 or 3 chapters. By the end of this stream, we'll be ahead of Easy for good. Because he can stream, but then he would have only caught up and we'd still be ahead by a couple. But my plan is to really lock in the next couple of days so that way we can get some gap between me and Easy. Otherwise, you guys are just hearing the same reading twice from both of us. And I'd like us to be a little spaced apart so that, you know, you guys are at least hearing different things. Money, how's it going, man? How you doing? TAF. Graft. That's not bad. Let's do that. A. I need Devil to pop in here immediately. Holy shit. Okay. So BUMK MPY. Let's try that. I'm curious. Oh, give me. Oh, okay. We got something. Okay. So we know it's TAFY. Taffy? No! Clutched it. Okay. I'm nothing if not clutch. Okay? I'm nothing if not clutch. We save those. I'm doing alright. I actually read a bit, read a bit, then you caught up, so now we're on the same chapter again. I lost my streak on this word. Lord of the Mysteries is a lot to process. I don't have a good memory or retention skill, but I think I'm doing pretty good keeping up with the story. Yeah, no. That's why I find like streaming and like talking to you guys really helps me a lot, because I'm like verbalizing my thoughts, which helps me retain them. I generally find I have a bad memory for facts, but I have a good memory for like a timeline. Like if I can graph together like a timeline of like, okay, well, this happened, this caused this to happen, this caused that to happen, I'll remember that sequence because I can like backtrace my thoughts through it. Whereas if I just have to remember, like in 1918, Archduke Franz Ferdinand was assassinated by Gabriel Principe, which jump-started the First World War. Okay, like that one in particular I remember, but like, you know what I mean? Like those stuff I have bad memory with. Romero, how's it going, man? Chill, moderate. No, okay, wait. Moderate or radical? Those two are like political terms. No, never mind. Moderate, radical, civic. Jury? Shit. Okay, hold on. Civic, jury. If you understand the logic of how Lord of the Mysteries works, you can really fill in anything you don't remember. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Jury, civic. Moderate, radical, customs. Doesn't apply to Wiz though, since he doesn't know the lore. Yes. Yeah, well, hopefully when I'm done, I will be able to use that same train of logic. Chill, table, jury. I know. This sucks. What the fuck? Someone help me. Romero, tell Devil to get in here. I need help. Wind Valley, how's it going, man? Whenever I feel like I'm losing interest, sucks me back in. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I definitely don't think I'm putting this book down until I'm finishing it. To the creator, fun fact, he donated 50,000 messages because he's such a nice person. Oh, do we have another true creator? I want to say fanatic, but I'm going to say believer because I want to be nice. Okay. Text box. Image. Word. Chart. Fuck. Romero's a fraud. I'm a bigger believer. True creator is as a god. Can he just end sickness? No, I don't believe that's quite possible, Queen. Because unless it falls under his domain, I guess. Wiz already saw the TikTok. No, we'll check that out. Actually, let's do that now. Let's do that now. You know the extent of my faith and depravity. What is this? This is so cool. Nice. Food. This is so hard. Oh my god, this is so good. We are... Oh. I'm so curious what this scene is supposed to depict when Tinjin like goes up in flames. Like, what is this? Or it doesn't go up in flames, but like this white light shines through it. Is this when they manage to kill Megos, or what happened? I don't know what this is. But this is so good. It's all just standardly available stuff through the... my god, through the trailers and stuff, but it's so well done. Food. Oh, that looks so cool. That's such a cool frame to stop at. This is really cool. Including me. Oh, so good. This is really... My wallpaper is the true creator. I've read every fanfic of him and have a printed image of him. Oh. I also won't be able to make sure that nobody spends, and someone else will have to take care of that. Alright. Subtitles by Wind Valley. Oh, thanks, Wind. Thank you so much, man. That's awesome. That looks dope as fuck. Just marry them already. Marry him with a capital H, of course. Kettlefish said that the fight, which is in the Nighthawk space, was extended through the tunnel that crossed the Nighthawks. I see. Okay. I have done... I've also done all that. Yes, of course. Okay, let's just... I wish they perfected the Loanese Hermes language over the seasons. Maybe in the game we'll get Loanese language and the Hermes language used as well. Oh, that would be so cool. It would also be annoying as fuck if I have to try to figure that out. Oh, fuck, we did this morning. Shit. God damn it. I thought I did it before 12. Fuck. Okay, never mind. Alright, 607. Let us begin the never... wait, yes. 608. Let us begin the never-ending journey of this book that I've been reading for 3 months, but I'm only a third of the way through. Good God. Did you read the Chinese fanfic called... What? Everyone else in MC? Okay, sounds good, Justin. No worries, man. If you need... Is it your first time on the server, Justin, or have you been playing while I wasn't on? One of my friends gifted me a monocle. That's awesome, Nagito. Okay. Let me just get the my thingamajig set up. Let's go. Nice. I probably have, but I don't remember Chinese fanfic names. Okay. The endless gray fog hung silently before a light scraping noise on the table sounded. Klein changed his seating posture and began placing more weight on the details regarding the evil spirit. He was more and more convinced that Miss Sharon and himself had neglected the possibility of something happening to Rafter Pound. I have like 2 hours on the server. Oh, I see. If you need diamonds or something, Justin, just ask. Like I have like over a stack. Furthermore, this is even closer to a common fraud. There's only the use of supernatural powers in the details. Therefore, even if I had arrived at the mysterious space above the grey fog, I would passively have my senses fooled. I would have only discovered the problem by proactively considering and analyzing the situation. If it wasn't for Mr. Azek, who knew of the evil spirit and suspected it to be the dead Red Angel Medici, I wouldn't have realized the problem. Nor would I have hired Miss Magician to seek out any abnormalities. After a few minutes of contemplation, Klein conjured a pen and paper, and wrote the divination statement, Baronet Rafter Pound's current situation. After putting down the pen, he held the piece of paper and leaned back into his chair, silently entering cogitation. In the grey world, disconnected scenes flashed through Klein's mind, finally fixating on Unit 29 of Civilis Street, inside the warm activity room. Rafter Pound was dressed in cotton pajamas, holding a wine cup with red liquid. He was standing silently by the window, looking at the Backland police station headquarters diagonally across the street. The baronet had grey sideburns and puffy eye sockets that were tainted with blackish-green colors. The wrinkles on his forehead and the corners of his mouth were so pronounced that it exceeded what someone in his 40s should look like. His pupils weren't dilated in a very serious manner, but they were abnormal. His cheeks were flushed red as he had a furtive smile. He looked abnormal compared to when Klein last saw him. Something is definitely wrong with him, Klein thought. He left the dream and began to consider how to deal with the evil spirit. His first train of thought was, under his current situation, he's unable to contact Miss Sharon. But how should I report it? Through a reliable channel, pass the information to the Church of the Evernight and the Church of the God of Steam and Machinery. The information is high-level spies from FASAC and Intis are gathering at William Street for unknown motives. Reward, £100. I already made myself some diamond armor. That was very quick. This is the explanation Klein thought of after repeated consideration, directly revealing the Kings of Angels, a Red Priest, the Medici family, or the Tudor dynasty ruins, Tudor dynasty's ruins would indeed garner the attention of church and military, but would also make Miss Magician, who reported the manor, be a target of investigation. Not only was using high-level spies from FASAC and Intis are gathering at William Street relatively milder, something which ordinary Beyonders had a chance of noticing, but it was also something that would make the churches and military wary. They would send out the corresponding experts to employ the most effective methods. As for the subsequent fruits of the investigation, it was all thanks to their contribution and had nothing to do with the reporting party. Klein had considered getting Mr. Azek's help, but he ultimately chose to abandon the thought, because the evil spirit might be a king of angel. Mr. Azek, who's still in the stages of recovering, might not be able to deal with it. After some time, Klein turned the conjured scenes into a stream of light and transmitted it to the Crimson Star representing the magician. When Forrest got the response from the world, she was taken aback. Those are high-level spies from FASAC and Intis? She exclaimed to herself, believing that there was no way she could have inferred something like this. However, she felt at ease because believing the reason Mr. World had suspicions of abnormality in William Street was precisely because he had the corresponding intel of high-level spies. After he confirmed the appearance of people from FASAC and Intis, it was easy for him to make the conclusion. Pass this information to Church of Evernight and Church of Steam? Isn't that a euphemistic way of saying report it? Unfortunately, I won't be able to watch from the sidelines, or I'm sure a great show would unfold. She quickly had an idea, deciding to hand the matters over to the experienced Gio. When she came out of her room, she saw Gio sitting on the sofa. She was flipping through documents about her target, raising her hand to grab at the messy blonde hair from time to time and appearing extremely serious. Forrest casually picked up an item to embellish her motives and handed the item over. Here, have a piece of cake. Gio glanced at the cake, slathered with layers of cream. Without losing focus, she raised her hand to grab it. At this moment, Forrest flicked her wrist, and the cake in her palm turned into a golden decorative flower. Good lord. Surprised? Stop your performance. I prefer food. Okay, I have something for you to do. 70 pounds, Forrest smiled. After dealing with the evil spirit's matters, Klein returned to the real world and held a ritual in passing. Cake is a lie? Yes. That's so mean. Dude, if my fucking roommate brought me cake and it transformed into a flower, I'm throwing that bitch out the window, okay? I'm like, you son of a bitch, you gave me the hope of cake and you take it away? How could you? Flower, get the fuck out of here. Give me the cake. He brought the radio transceiver, which had been above the grey fog for a few days. He laid in bed and used cogitation to recover his energy until he was awoken by the tapping sounds. We should do that in MC. Do what? I'm your housemate. True. When Klein opened his eyes... Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you. 607. Professional. Mute? No, I don't. I think I just wasn't talking at that time. Oh wait, who is Justin staying with? Should we? I can build an extension of the house and get him a place to live too, and hopefully get myself out of the basement too. Why can't I hear him? I hate to ask the obvious, but yeah, we're at 6:08. Oh. And when Klein opened his eyes, the crimson moonlight had already shone in, blanketing the dim room like a veil, as well as the radio transceiver, which was automatically spewing out illusory white paper. This feels like a horror film. A shame it's connected to a magic mirror without any moral integrity or bottom line. I just need to... Oh, interesting. Okay. Honorable existence above the spirit world, your loyal and humble servant Eridas has arrived and would like to greet you. Do you have something you would like to test me on? Look at this. This is smooth talking. This is what I call a professional. I clearly have questions to ask, but it becomes a situation of testing me, and even threw in a question. Klein replied, yes. Please speak. The ignorant and limited, Eridas is ready. The illusory paper no longer produced Loanese, but instead produced a fawning smiley face. This is the emergence of emoticons? He evolves quickly. Klein directly asked, where can I obtain a mystical item which can steal the beyonder power of others? The tapping sounds became intense as the piece of paper shot out. There were places which Klein was familiar with, such as Tingen City's St. Selena Cathedral's Chanis Gate, the black-haired, green-eyed, handsome poet Leonard Mitchell. A middle-aged man who sat on a sofa smiling at the noble ladies opposite him, and a young, arrogant lady loitering in the sewers. There were a total of 12 scenes, and finally a line of Loanese appeared. These are some of the ones that you can easily or conveniently acquire one from. There are a lot more, but they are either very complicated or troublesome, or they range at the highest levels, which I cannot see clearly. Not bad. Klein nodded and said, and despite knowing the answer, he said, it's your turn to ask. You have already answered. Add those to the notes? The people? So St. Selena, that's fine. Leonard Mitchell, I'm curious what Leonard has that could steal others' powers. And who is the girl? The newest member of the Tarot Club? The plot thickens. Sorry, I don't have my notes open. Give me a second. The plot chickens. Klein chuckled inwardly and asked, where will Leonard Mitchell be staying for the time being? The tapping sounds became intense again. It was a famous landmark in Backland, a towering Gothic bell with a bell of order hanging from above. There was a road sign with the words Pinster Street. It was Unit 7 along a row of terraced houses. In it, there was an extremely suave Leonard Mitchell. He was Klein's poet friend who was reading through the dossier of Lanavis and Capim. He's in Backland and he's investigating Lanavis and Capim? What the hell? The corners of Klein's mouth twitched as he thought about the clues he left behind in those cases. The only clue is Detective Sherlock Moriarty is involved in the two cases. If Leonard enters Daisy's dreams, he should be able to find this point. But I already kept a beard and had a pretty good disguise back then. It's really unlikely he can recognize me. As long as he doesn't, it doesn't really matter. What has problems with Sherlock what has problems with Sherlock got to do with me, Gearman? 7 Pincer Street. He planned on entrusting the moon to visit Leonard Mitchell the day after tomorrow and use the batch of the Hermits of Fate to purchase a mystical item. I hope my dear poet friend has items to spare. If not, the price will definitely be at a premium. Klein then asked tersely, "It's your turn to ask." He was honestly curious what Erdas would like to ask him. Great Master, Leonard Mitchell has a huge secret. Do you wish to know? Dude, what a narc! This can also be considered a question? He gave an honest answer. Yes. Oh my god, because if he finds out that he has a high sequence beyonder who is enemies with Amon, he would go visit Leonard because he'd be like, yo, we need to team up. Snitches get stitches. True. The real MC meets the delusional MC. 609. Paying a visit. Okay, I promise I will have Cat Leia's tarot card on the GIF. If I don't, you have my permission to like lock me in a dungeon or something until I finish this fucking book. Okay, I don't know. I will. It will be uploaded. The GIF will be ready by next stream. I promise. Amidst the clacking sound, the transceiver spewed out a brand new piece of illusory paper. Inside Leonard Mitchell's body resides an angel from the Zoroast family. He once changed my question. That makes sense. Oh, angel. There's an angel residing in Leonard's body? An angel from the 4th Epoch Zoroast family? An angel refers to a sequence 1 or 2. Hold on. Zoroast family. Yeah, it's in my notes. I gotta read it, but it's in my notes for sure. Since he's enemies with Amon, he's either of the apprentice pathway or the thing pathway or the seer pathway, or I guess it could be Marauder itself. Zoroast. Stealing the Beyonder pathways from the Marauder pathway. In the 4th Epoch, it belonged to the Amon family, the Zoroast family. Okay, so he's likely of the Marauder family as well. So Amon might be trying to kill him, because if they're both sequence 1s, Amon might be trying to kill him to get his characteristic to advance to sequence 0. The plot chickens. Do, 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 do. He was very concerned and surprised. An angel refers to a beyonder of sequence 1 or 2, making them rather close to the state of a true god. They have all sorts of mystical powers, and can even influence low sequence beyonders of the same pathway to a degree. There were many mighty figures who stood at the pinnacle of the real world. In various churches, only their popes, pontiffs, patriarchs, as well as certain legendary figures were grounded angels. Klein believed that being latched on to by a parasite at this level wasn't a good thing. In the dark second epoch, the angels all had their divine names, and they were subsidiaries to the ancient gods. I haven't indirectly or directly interacted with many angels. Amon, Kohanim, the evil spirit, Ouroboros, Miracle Invoker Zaratul, son of the creator Adam, Hermes, who can't be confirmed if he's an angel or not, Snake of Fate Will Osepton, and possibly Mr. Isaac as well. Apart from the last two, the others appear to be evil. Even the words they leave behind might make the raider go crazy or lose control. Would my dear poet ultimately end up as a sacrificial item? This explains why he thinks of himself as the protagonist of a play, the special one, and he was willing to help me hide my secret. The Zoroast family is in control of the Marauder pathway, which is the pathway that can steal the Beyonder powers of others. That's why Leonard was able to find and participate in the gathering of the Hermits of Fate. It's no wonder he offered to use the Blood Vessel Thief. It's because he has a grandpa to help him. He was able to instantly steal Megos' most potent power. What Hermits of Fate? They're just a bunch of thieves and frauds. At best, the target of their theft and fraud is that of time and fate. I mean, if you had an angel with you. In short, my dear poet's grandpa isn't a good person. I have to find a way to warn him. But here comes the problem. They're always together. Klein advanced to Angel Magnet from Calamity Magnet, true. But the problem is, angels and calamities seem to be like synonyms in this world, so it kind of doesn't make a difference. Klein's thoughts raced, failing to come up with any idea. All he could do was temporarily shelve the problem, and he planned on asking Azek and Will Osepton if they have any solutions. In those few minutes, even though he even thought of the blasphemer Amon, to put it simply, it was to divulge information to the son of the creator that the angel from Zoroast was residing in Leonard Mitchell's body, getting him to kill the parasite. According to what Klein knew, the Amon family supported the Tudor Empire and the Fourth Epoch, while the Zoroast family belonged to the Solomon Empire, making the two enemies. Furthermore, according to the law of Beyonder characteristic conservation, powerhouses of the same pathway would have greater conflicts the higher the sequence. This was akin to the battle of the two snakes of Mercury. Yeah, let's team up with Amon. He seems like a great guy. I kid, of course. Unfortunately, this solution was restricted by reality and ultimately abandoned by Klein. This was because he didn't know where to find Blasphemer Amon. Secondly, he was afraid that the battle at the level of an angel's would directly destroy Leonard. And thirdly, a powerful Amon might be a very bad, serious matter. I'll first get Emlyn to attempt the transaction and observe the situation. I can decide on what to do now, or I can decide on what to do when I know more. Ask your question, Klein asked Eridus. No, there's no need. This is an addendum to my question, which doesn't need to abide by the rules. Great Master, I sense a special item outside your room, but I am unable to see through it. Can you tell me what it is? Die of probability. So it's that thing. Great Master, you can ask your question. What do you have to mention regarding the die of probability? It's a fellow that bears petty and bears grudges. Master, you have to quickly give it to someone else. It's an item formed from the uniqueness of the Wheel of Fortune. You can give it to any other Snake of Fate, and they will be very grateful. It's not very suitable to be your servant. Zaref, how's it going? Zaza, how's it going, man? Amon is the best guy to be around. Okay. It's an item from the uniqueness of the Wheel of Fortune. Is Wheel of Fortune the sequence 0 of the Amon pathway? Or is that just the... I don't know what to make of that. Uniqueness mentioned, true. I mean, it's going in the notes all the same, but what is the Marauder pathway? You know what I mean. What is the Wheel of Fortune? I'm so curious. The plot chickens. Oh, you guys know what I mean by the Amon pathway, okay? Don't get all obtuse on me here. Come on. The aura is dissipating. Your humble and loyal Eridus has no choice but to leave. Bye-bye, Great Master. Uniqueness. The die of probability is actually the uniqueness of the monster pathway. This is the first time I'm in... Oh, I see. Oh, I see. I kept using Amon instead of... oh, I see. I apologize. Not Amon's. Oh, that's why you guys were questioning me. I'm sorry. Not the Marauder pathway, but the monster pathway. I apologize. Could the Wheel of Fortune be the sequence 0 of the monster pathway? Good question. This is the first time I'm encountering a so-called uniqueness. It really is terrifying that it can digitize the entire world. The monster pathway is also called the Wheel of Fortune pathway. Sequence 0 is Wheel of Fortune? Klein looked at the radio transceiver, which had returned to normal. But he temporarily reined in his thoughts. He didn't harbor any greed towards the die of probability. This was because it wasn't part of the seer pathway, and it came from the extremely terrifying negative effects. He was also afraid that with time, this die which bore grudges would attract the Tail Devourer or Ouroboros. That's terrifying. That'll go in my notes too. Let's just... Let's do a quick divination. Sequence 0 of the monster pathway is a Wheel of Fortune. No. Weirdly enough, I don't think so either. It feels silly. Wheel of Fortune doesn't... that's a tarot card. That doesn't feel like a sequence 0. None of the sequence 0s have been anything like this. Even if this thing can be isolated and sealed above the grey fog, there's a high chance of it digitizing the entire space. In the future, the tarot gatherings might end up becoming a tabletop role-playing game. Klein had never come into contact with an item of this level before, so he was unable to determine what would happen if he were to throw the die of probability above the grey fog. What do you think of the high level of the die, manipulating the probability of the whole world? Could it be that, like the last time, so the fact that there's sequence 1s of the monster pathway, like Will Ossepton and stuff, we know that there's no sequence 0. So could it be like the uniqueness is like the part is like a part of the sequence 0? So like whoever the last sequence 0 of that pathway was died, and a part of his characteristic became this die of probability. Something like that. Like because it's such a high, like it might be able to just affect the entire world. That's crazy. And that's definitely some god level stuff. I know of the uniqueness Nightwalker. I don't know anything about it is the problem. He decided to continue intimidating the die, and he would successfully send it to Oravi Island, where the Life School of Thought members had the means to seal it. As for the problem of the mission exceeding the payment he would receive, he didn't mind it, because the greatest benefit he would receive was the friendship of the Snake of Fate, Will Ossepton. Sorry. Backland Harvest Church, Emlyn White held a strange badge which was the size of an eyeball and chuckled inwardly. The world sure is long-winded. Isn't it just to find a Nighthawk named Leonard Mitchell in the North Borough. He even especially emphasized that the person has a secret and there's a high chance of me being pulled into a dream. This is showing doubt in my ability. Emlyn stood there and changed into a tailcoat and a white shirt and looked out the window. He has a secret. Well, I have mine. I dare bet that Lord Nips or the other earls are watching me. If anything were to happen, they would definitely provide me with a certain degree of help. Being pulled into a dream. Emlyn contemplated for a few seconds before using the materials which are rich in spirituality to concoct a blue medicine. Imagine having sequence 1 as a friend. True. Bro's secrets are not on this. Not at all, no. His secret is I like to play with dolls. Not the same as I have an angel residing in my body. That is some supernatural shit. If any of you have seen the Supernatural show. God, I love that show. I don't know why Emlyn wasn't trust. I know, I wouldn't trust him with anything either. I trust Emlyn just enough to like pay him money and have him reach out to some vampires to get me like ingredients. That's it. I don't trust this man with shit. It was still morning, but background sky was as gloomy as ever. There was a faint fog that spread like water. Emlyn squinted his eyes and wore a hat and muttered to himself, "The sunlight is blinding." This saved him a lot more times than heading straight there. About 40 minutes later, he arrived at his destination and stood outside the 7 Pinster Street. Emlyn rang the doorbell and waited for a minute. Just as he was about to write a note and stuff it into the hole beneath the door, he suddenly heard footsteps approaching. That doesn't sound like a servant. Emlyn nodded discernibly and took out the medicine he had concocted in advance and drank it. Then as he watched the door open, a black-haired, green-eyed man appeared in front of him. His shirt was untucked, allowing it to flutter in the wind. He was dressed in homewear, a white shirt and black trousers. Although he's a believer of the Evernight, I have to say his looks are bearable to a sanguine. Whew. Good morning. Are you Leonard Mitchell? I for real miss Leonard. I know, I miss my goat too. I bet that Emlyn will accidentally tell... no. Good morning. Are you Mr. Leonard? You are a visitor. I have something I would like to seek your help on. Emlyn didn't reveal his identity as he smiled with an obvious arrogance. God, this motherfucker's annoying. Jesus Christ. This attitude gave Leonard a baffling sense of familiarity. It was as though he had seen his former self, the person who always thought of themselves as being the most special. He cleared his throat and said, "I'm an ordinary citizen. I don't accept missions. If you have an issue, find a private detective." Emlyn smiled. "This matter is something only you can complete. I wish to purchase a mystical item that can steal the beyonder power of others." Who are you? At this moment, Emlyn didn't answer immediately. Instead, he surveyed his surroundings and clicked his tongue. Impressive. I nearly failed to realize that I've been pulled into a dream. He wasn't in a rush to leave as he took out the small badge he received from the world in front of Leonard Mitchell's solemn expression. Emlyn took a glance as his expression eased slightly. Silently, Emlyn White saw the white scene around him shatter. Leonard sneered. "Let's talk inside." Until 6:16? Yes, sir. Easy, how's it going, man? We always do 9-chapter streams. Someone stall him so I can catch up. No, easy, you don't understand. We have to think about this thematically. We can't be reading the same chapters. It's gonna get annoying as fuck for these guys, bro. We gotta be in like different places so they're at least hearing different stuff. Oh. Really, what you should do is you should just stop reading for like 2 weeks, and then you can do. Sorry, I know. Upon hearing Leonard Mitchell's invitation, Emlyn didn't show any fear. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna stop reading. Easy's here. I don't want to spoil anything for him. How's it going, man? How you doing? Take care, fam. Alright, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll pop by your stream when you're live. Now that I can, because, you know, I'm not going to get spoiled. Let's go. Okay. All right. Thanks for popping by, buddy. Sorry, I don't mean to kick you out by any means. I just don't want to. Some cool stuff is happening, and I don't want to spoil it for you. Upon hearing Leonard's invitation, Emlyn didn't show any fear. He held his top hat and wore a subtle smile before entering the house. He didn't take off his coat, as a potions professor was often brought supplementary ingredients or items. It wouldn't look pleasant once the concealment of the items was gone. Bruh, you need to make sure to spoil him. Why would I do that? Emlyn sat there with his tailcoat leaning back in the support. He said, actually, there's no need to go through the trouble. If you have it, name the price. Otherwise, just say so. Of course, I'm certain you have one. He chuckled as the bright red eyes reflected Leonard's figure. This feeling of me knowing you have a secret with you don't know anything about me left Emlyn extremely pleased with a strong sense of superiority. Leonard used his finger to comb through his raven black hair, and he said, with a smile, at the very least, I need to know who wants it. Perhaps it's me. Or perhaps it's a friend. Emlyn tipped his chin. Finally, he laughed. All right, since you've taken out your badge, I'll answer frankly. I do have a mystical item that can be used to steal the beyonder powers of others, but I only have that one item. If you want it, it's 7,000 pounds. No negotiation. 7,000 pounds? A mystical item of this kind is that expensive? Although he didn't have to pay for it, Emlyn was still shocked. He nearly failed to maintain his bearing as a sanguine. He automatically converted how much money that could be used to exchange for dolls and dresses. After 2 seconds, Emlyn revealed a smile. I'll consider it. I'll have an answer for you in 2 days. Sure. Leonard said. After leaving the house, Emlyn hired a rental carriage as though nothing has happened, as he headed for the steam metro in the North Borough. Taking off his hat, he looked back at the street which had carriages and pedestrians passing through. Emlyn chuckled and took a step into the Harvest Church. In between a tree and black street lamp, an inconspicuous shadow suddenly moved, revealing Leonard Mitchell. His appearance was silent, but it didn't garner the attention of any pedestrians. Someone from the Church of the Earth Mother? He frowned. Bro uses dolls and dresses to count money. He paused for 2 seconds before leaving the Rose Street. 7,000 pounds? Why doesn't he just go rob a bank? Klein nearly blurted out above the grey fog. As Gearman, he had previously said something similar, but the two situations and the mood were completely different. Using the bounty of the Golden Dream's third mate, Flowery Bowtie Jodson, as a reference, Klein inferred that a similar mystical item was worth 5,000 pounds. Even with a premium, it would have maxed out at 6,000 pounds. Who knew Leonard would ask for 7? Could it be an item left behind by a high-sequence Beyonder, making the act of stealing Beyonder powers just one of its effects? No, if that's the case, the price would start at 10,000 pounds. My dear poet, why didn't I know you're a profiteering merchant? Since he had a clue and he saw a glimmer of hope and how it was something that could be resolved with money, Klein didn't wish to seek out other channels to prevent any mishaps. He quickly calculated his wealth and discovered it was an acceptable price, including the 300 pounds from the apothecary, the 5,400 pound bounty from Wormtongue, and the cash I've got from the bodies, subtracting the 200 pounds to be paid to Miss Magician. I have a total of 12,767 pounds and 5 gold coins, not including my 3 soli and 8 pence in change. Bro, he's a straight up penny pincher, bro. How does he know to the fucking pound? Not just to the pound, to the soli, to the pence, how much fucking money he has. You have nearly 13,000 pounds. And he's like, 12,767, 5 gold coins, 8 soli, 3. Like, bro, why are you like this? If it's a problem that can be resolved with money, it's not a problem. Wrong. If it's a problem that can be resolved with money, it's not a problem for the rich. Same thing is like anything that has a punishment of a fine is legal for the rich. It's just illegal for poor people. He carefully counted the money, 7,500 pounds in cash, and placed them inside. 7,000 pounds for the mystical item, 500 pounds for Emlyn's hazardous pay. After going through all the effort to go past 10,000 pounds, more than half of it will be gone in an instant. Dude, this is such a waste. Because he already has creeping hunger. For him, this is literally useless, this item. Have you finished the novel before? How are you going to avoid spoilers? By the seat of my pants, Conspirer is the answer. I have not finished the novel before. But I have mods to prevent it from chat here. Beyond that, I go by the grace of the Evernight Goddess, really. Klein conjured the world and made him pose in a praying manner to inform Emlyn there were no problems with going through with the transaction. 15 minutes later, a ritual was to be held by the bestowment by the fool. In addition, Klein also made the world warn Emlyn not to be in a rush to complete the deal after getting the cash. He was to wait until tomorrow. This was because he was afraid that the angel from the Zoroast family inside Leonard would sense the Grey Fog's aura on the cash. He wanted an airing process. It's so funny to see Nightwalker say that while he doesn't have his mod powers, because it feels like just a chatter being like, "I'm here to say no." 15 minutes later, Klein glanced at the cash pile, which had shrunk by more than half, and sighed before returning to the real world. It was already 10:40 on a Friday. They were about 8 hours from Oravi Island. It's time to intimidate the die of probability again. Nightwalker is here to save us. Truly the Messiah. Klein muttered, held a ritual, and brought about the iron cigar case containing the all-black eye. He guessed that Darkwill would suspect something, so he deliberately brought the die to the washroom to deal with it. Seeing a die of probability calm down once again, Klein quickly dealt with the all-black eye in the iron cigar case after heaving a long sigh of relief. He did a silent countdown of the time. It should be enough to last until Darkwill hands it to the contact. There's no need to deal with it again. Bro, how you gonna be... Wait, what did he do, Romero? What? He just said one message, no? He said, wait, when? He just had one message, no? It should be, Seeing the die of probability calm down again, Klein quickly dealt with the all-black eye in the iron cigar case. After heaving a sigh of relief, he did a silent countdown. It should be enough to last... It should be enough to last until Darkwill hands it to the contract. There's no need to deal with it again. With this in mind, he began to consider another problem. The all-black eye has appeared in front of the true creator before, and it has its mental corruption. To take it out once every few hours might cause him to lock onto me, sending powerhouses to seek me out. However, it was only 1 or 2 minutes each time, so the problem isn't that serious. Even if he senses it, the estimate of the area wouldn't be too precise. When involving the true creator, there's no way to know things with divination. I can only raise my guard. Thankfully, this is the last time, and it will take like 8 hours to reach our destination. Why am I raising flags for myself? No, I wasn't thinking of anything. Klein picked the die of probability and returned to the living room and saw the chubby apothecary slumped on the reclining chair, looking completely exhausted. As for the owl, Harry, it looked like he was brimming with energy. These are the different traits that different creatures gain from the same potion. At the very least, Miss Justice has never mentioned that she doesn't need sleep. Dr. Z, how's it going? It's a uniqueness that comes about because of an owl's biological makeup. I think 3 right now. I don't know much about owls. Indeed, I'm just a keyboard warrior. Time ticked by as the sun gradually set in the west. At this point in time, Klein, who had his eyes closed, suddenly sat up, having sensed an extreme danger befall the area. Do I need to put on fight music? Do I need to have it ready? It exceeded a seer's spiritual intuition and the clown's intuition for danger. It seemed to stem from the formless grey fog, which strangely rippled around him. How are we finding Dr. Z in less than 10 seconds? I've got the power. I am nothing if not a seer, okay? And we confirm that I have fully digested the seer potion, so call it the spiritual intuition of a clown. Yeah, Morpheus, same thing. Yes, exactly. An enemy, tail devourer Ouroboros, or an Aurora Order saint? Klein opened his eyes as he began considering countermeasures. Bro, if it's a fucking angel, there's no countermeasures you can do. You're cooked. Any mistake in a time such as this would require him to consider the matters of being resurrected. As for the Darkwill and Harry, there was no way for them to be spared. In the beginning, he hoped that the visitor would gradually sense a general area and might not be able to find him or the die of probability. However, when he considered that how he was on a ship with no one else around, it wasn't hard to lock on. The only problem would be worse when that happened, with giving up being the only choice. Above the liner, space was suddenly torn open as an invisible door with complicated symbols appeared. 2 pale hands reached out from the door and suddenly pulled backwards, allowing his entire body to walk out. He wore a black bonnet and a classic dark robe, a favorite among elders, but he didn't look past 40. His brown hair was slightly curled, which seemed abnormally hard. Countless illusory images darted across his dark eyes, as though layers of chaotic worlds were hidden within. Klein sensed danger as it intensified. Just the changes in his expression frightened Darkwill and Harry enough to freeze them in place. He didn't hesitate as he followed his plans for such a situation. He leaned forward and picked up the die of probability. Determine the outcome of the malefic visitor who just arrived. I want 1 point, Klein said in a deep voice, and threw out the die. He subconsciously prayed to the goddess, hoping the die, which had been intimidated, was obedient enough. Meanwhile, he appeared extremely calm, to prevent the die from sensing his anxiety and take the opportunity to cause trouble. The die rolled several times. While producing clicking sounds, it fixed at 1 blood-red point. Above the liner, the black-robed man, who didn't look past 40, had the entire liner reflected in his eyes. He emanated his spirituality and scanned the surroundings. He extended his hand to grab the space in front of him as he pulled a nearly invisible door. Is this guy a fucking traveler? Who is this? Because he's clearly using the spirit world to travel. And we know of 2 pathways that can currently do that. Azek can do that as a death console, and the Traveler can do that. The powerhouse stepped in and vanished. Inside the first-class cabin, Klein immediately felt the danger distancing itself from him. He couldn't help but heave a sigh of relief. He looked at the die of probability and couldn't help but sigh inwardly. If this die didn't have such a negative effect, could be used to its fullest extent, it would be a divine artifact. As expected of a grade 0. As expected of the uniqueness of the monster pathway. Dude, the die just saved them. Klein was for sure gonna die there. that was an angel. Presumably. Klein maintained his posture and replied, Darkwill found his courage and asked, what happened? There's no need for you to know. I understand. I understand. The more I know, the greater danger I'll be in. No problem. Darkwill wiped the sweat from his face. Whew. There weren't any more accidents in the next few hours. After the sun went up below the horizon and the sky became completely dark, Klein saw the towering lighthouse appear not too far away. No worries, Nagato. I'll be live for like another 2 hours at this point. 6:11. Dark brown hair. Someone of the true creator, so a high sequencer of the shepherd pathway. I don't know. Do I know any high sequencer of the shepherd pathway? That's some crazy shit. Okay. Oravi was situated northeast of the Rorstad archipelago. The straight line distance wasn't too great, but the safe sea route had required ships to take many twists and turns. It was originally a primitive island that harbored many kinds of Beyonder creatures without any humans on it. After the hunting era came to an end, the Lone Kingdom banished certain criminals here, causing Oravi to gradually have villagers and towns. So this is the Australia of this world. When more eastern islands were discovered and colonized, the area attracted many new immigrants due to the convenience of the sea route and its rich natural resources. This is actually Australia. The light from the lighthouse tower appeared so warm in the dark surrounding. We finally arrived. My gratitude to the crimson moon and fate for blessing me, Darkwill jumped off the last gangway and stepped onto the solid cemented ground. To be precise, apart from fate, you should thank the fool and the sea god. Klein held his leather suitcase with one hand and tapped his cane. One day I will finally fool you. Perhaps, but that day ain't today. Darkwill properly put away the ring box, which contained the die of probability, and didn't delay in asking where the bellman, Carnet, stayed. He rented a carriage and went straight for the St. Draco Cathedral. He entered the magnificent bell tower, which boldly used the colors of red, blue, and yellow. Inside the bell tower, Carnet had a cramped room he could call his own. Darkwill knocked on the door thrice, eager to hand the item over. With a creak, the door opened, and out came a large man who was slightly hunched. He looked to be in his 40s, and individually there was nothing strange about his facial features, but when put together, it was filled with an unharmonious vibe. Basically, we're just calling this man ugly. We're just saying, like, you tall, but man, you ugly. Klein only took a glance and discovered that his eyes weren't leveled, his nostrils were of different sizes, and his left facial muscles were slightly loose, causing the corners of his mouth to droop slightly. It was the complete opposite on the right side of his face. Now I'm not acting, I'm waiting for you to drop your guard. Were you also not acting when you popped by and said hi, and I said, hi, Dr. Z? Who are you? Carnet asked. Are you the bellman, Carnet? Darkwill asked cautiously. There shouldn't be a second person as ugly as me, Carnet chuckled. You were saying, Morpheus? Indeed, Darkwill nodded. I can tell that you have a good state of mind. To be honest, looks don't matter for a man. I'm not reading that. Okay. Carnet's expression darkened, and he said, I don't want to talk about such stuff. You have a problem in that area? No problem. I have all kinds of medicine that can treat your problems. They're talking about being in bed with ladies. Okay, I'm not. Before Darkwill finished his sentence, Klein took a step forward, afraid that he would be beaten to death. He put half his body between them and said, he's Roy King's student. I figured. Roy once described his traits. His room was extremely tiny, with only a single bed and cabinet, which could be used as a dining table. My teacher got me to hand this item to you. Darkwill pulled out the box and handed it to Carnet. Carnet stole a glance on it and was relieved to see 4 points, and said to Darkwill, You aren't as unreliable as your teacher described. I can tell that you didn't attempt to use it. That would have awoken it and made it realize that it's no longer sealed. The apothecary's face blushed as he said, "That's because it's pretty quiet now. In another hour or two we'll automatically roll. I think it's best you think of a method to seal it." Again? Well, I actually accidentally dropped it on the ground, and then he came alive. Carnet's eyes clearly widened, and his hunchback nearly straightened. How did you arrive here? From his point of view, the student should have died a long time ago at the whim of the die. Darkwill pointed at Gehrman and said it's all thanks to him. He's a powerful adventurer who provided the most effective protection and temporary method of sealing the dice. What method? Carnet blurted out. Trade secret, Klein laughed. That's crazy. Carnet's expression changed a few times as he pressed his hand to his chest and bowed. I thank you for your help on behalf of my organization. Hiring him cost £1,000 and a request. The request is to help him find a mystical item with powerful offensive traits, but without serious negative effects. He will purchase it at a reasonable price. I only had £300. You'll have to pay the rest. Carnet fell silent as his lips twitched. I only have £100. How are all of them so broke? These people are high-ranking members of the School of Thought or whatever. These people have £100 to their name? Bro. Suddenly there was silence in the room, and the wind from outside blew through the cracks and brushed through the three men's faces. Finally, Carnet spoke. Perhaps Counselor Ricardo has the money. I'll lead you to him. From the looks of it, he trusts us. After all, a Fate Counselor is in no way comparable to the die of probability. If there were any problems with us, there would be no need for us to bring the die over and prevent any problems and snatch away the uniqueness. At this moment, he secretly activated his spirit vision and scanned the man. Klein pricked up his eyebrows. This was because Carnet's aura colors were unique. There was no problem with the emotional colors, they were ordinary, but his ether body, which represented his body, was unnatural. His heart was green, his head purple, his digestive system yellow. They were like different parts mashed together with great disharmony. At the same time, Carnet's soul gave the same feeling. A monster that was stitched up internally? Klein made a rough judgment based on what he knew. After Carnet got the lanterns, he turned his head to glance at Gehrman and said without much expression, I'm very sensitive to spirit vision. I believe you've noticed some problems. I'm not a naturally born person. I'm a product of the Church of the Earth Mother's attempts to refine the human body. United, how's it going, man? How you doing? I'm considered a failed specimen, which is why I don't have the ability in that aspect. His final sentence was directed at Darkwill, referring to activities. Carnet didn't speak as he carried the lantern and donned a black robe. Can you check the normal colors from the pics? The normal colors? What? Oh, you're talking about like spirit vision and stuff. Hold on. Product of the Church of the Earth Mother's attempt to refine a human body. But Saint Draco belongs to the Church of Storm. Since it's a failed specimen, no attention was paid to it? Carnet turned his back to the Church of the Earth Mother and became a member of the Life School of Thought? This is understandable, because both the Church of the Earth Mother and the Life School of Thought hold the apothecary pathway, and definitely have some overlap. But why would the Life School of Thought send this fellow, that doesn't seem to be a simple bellman, to the Church of Storm? Is it a normal disguise, or a particular connection between the two? Just as he came close to the left side of the bridge, Klein suddenly felt something as he looked up diagonally. The owl, Harry, had flown as well and landed on the tree branch. The branch suddenly snapped as Harry plummeted, With great difficulty, it flew up again without falling. Darkwill was about to say something when Carnet explained. Counselor Ricardo is injured, so his powers are somewhat out of control. Once anyone enters a specific range, they'll be tainted with bad luck. Carnet stopped in his footsteps and threw the ring box containing the die under the bridge. Mr. Counselor, Roy King's student has delivered the dice. Very good, a hoarse voice sounded. A silver-scaled palm reached from the darkness as he grabbed down the ring box. Following that, he opened the ring box and took out the die. His other hand, which was covered in silver scales, also reached out as he held a piece of paper-like item made of leather. The item resembled a water pipe, but its ends were connected, revealing a grayish-white color under the crimson moonlight. Moonlight? Moonlight. Its surface had many complicated symbols and labels, as well as the words in Hermes which pointed to the Snake of Mercury, Will Ossepton. Ricardo pulled the item apart and stuffed the die of probability into it before connecting the two ends. Using fate at a small scale to seal the die of probability with periodic boundary limitations, making it remain in a perpetual state of slumber or calm. Will Ossepton had foreseen to such a situation and made preparations. Klein retracted his gaze in relief and heard Ricardo's hoarse voice. I know of your arrangement, Mr. Gehrman. I will help you find the mystical item after I've recovered. As for the 700 pounds, I'll immediately augment you with good luck. Go to a few casinos in Oravi and make some bets. You'll get the corresponding reward. Remember, do not win more than 200 at each casino, and you must not win more than 700 pounds in total. What is this? Oh, I'm gonna try this next time I'm buying something from like Facebook Marketplace. I'm gonna be like, listen, I've augmented your luck. I'm not gonna pay you for the item you gave, of course. Just go to the casino and make a few bets. You'll win. I got you. And then run away. What? He waited, which is to say you don't have the money either. Seeing how you're hiding while injured, it's considered normal not to have the money with you. Klein nodded and said, okay. He waited for about 10 seconds without sensing anything. Ricardo heaved a sigh of relief and said, you have become sufficiently lucky. Is that so? Klein chose to believe him and didn't disturb Darkwill's report to his senior. And he walked to a nearby casino and sat at a blackjack table. After about 10 minutes, he walked out with a blank look. Not only did he not win money, he lost 30 pounds. He got scammed! No! That's so good. Oh god. Oh, that was so funny. Oh, what happened to the good luck? Why did I believe him? That old man is terrible. Klein didn't hesitate to return to the bridge and approached its belly. That fast? You have pretty good luck, Ricardo laughed. Klein replied, I lost. Lost? Ricardo ruminated over the word and couldn't formulate a sentence for some time. In the dark environment, an owl nervously flew over. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, that's hilarious. He was like, yeah, and then somehow the guy manages to track me down after losing at the casino. He's like, what the fuck, dude? I lost. And I was like, lost? My powers must not be at their fullest effect. Like, oh, that is so good. Oh, that is so good. By the way, did you fix the typo you had in Klein's trailer? Yes, I did. Yes, I did, Romero. Thank you. How did the interview go? It went pretty good. It went pretty good, Dr. Z. They said they'll let me know within like a week. But the guy did say, like, hey, I think you're really good. I'll really recommend you to the hiring manager, whatever. The two street lamps on either side of the bridge silently illuminated the street, but they were unable to disperse the darkness underneath. He isn't even a beyonder, just a scammer. Oh, true. Hidden under the bridge, the Fate Counselor Ricardo remained silent for a while, making Klein suspect whether he had already passed away due to his injuries. He guessed that a large reason as to why the luck augmentation failed was because of this. Just as Klein was about to ask a probing question, Ricardo coughed and said, "You live up to a reputation of being a powerful adventurer capable of temporarily sealing the die. What happened exceeded my expectations. I'm very curious why my luck augmentation failed." Oh, I see. Ricardo probably did do it, but the gray fog probably isolated it from Klein, so he didn't feel it. Oh, I see. That's okay. That makes more sense. I'm very regretful that I can't come out and meet you in person. Otherwise, I should be able to see what Beyonders from other pathways will find difficult to see, even if they possess relatively powerful spirit visions. This is the uniqueness that the Fate pathway holds. The problem lies with me. That's not the point. The point is you need to give me 700 pounds. No, 730 pounds, damn it. Klein couldn't help but recall the orphan, a demoiselle, who had the nickname Monster in Tingeon City. Wait, a demoiselle died, right? Am I misremembering this? Remember when Ince tried to give him misfortune? Oh, true. A demoiselle died. Am I misremembering this, or is he alive? Oh no, a demoiselle didn't die? Oh, okay. Then he's definitely gonna come back. I don't know why I thought he died. No, only his eyes bled when he looked at Klein. Oh, that might be why. Okay. This is because the uniqueness of the Wheel of Fortune's path of divine, and he saw something wrong with me. He saw something related to the Grey Fog? No. This Fate Counselor is heavily injured and has the domain of the bad luck around him. There's no way for him to help inspect me. King, how's it going, man? How you doing? I should ask Snake of Fate Will Ossepton when I'm back. Perhaps he knows something. However, this pathway does have the bearing of being a charlatan. Klein maintained expressionless and said, "Then what will you do?" Ricardo sighed and said, "Get Darkwill out of here. I'll augment him with good luck and get him to win the money at your casino on your behalf. Or get Darkwill here. I'll augment him with good luck and get him to win money on your behalf." Using the name of the counselor Ricardo gave, Klein quickly found the apothecary. Then while carrying a suitcase and cane, he watched as he kept winning money at the casinos. By midnight, they had already won 750 pounds. After receiving the remaining 730, Klein realized a problem. The reason the luck augmentation failed was because of him. Why is that? He quickly thought of the thin, invisible grayish fog around him. After advancing to Faceless, the grey fog is integrated with reality to a degree. Not only does it help me screen off ravings that aren't too powerful, but it can also destroy influences changing my fate. Therefore, the counselor's luck augmentation was ineffective. Day by day makes more and more sense why Roselle wanted to beat up a charlatan. True. Did I change the title? I changed the title. Okay. What the heck? It doesn't make me some unlucky fool, but it also destroys my chance of being lucky? Klein secretly shook his head and followed Darkwill and the owl back to the stone bridge. He informed Ricardo of how to summon his messenger and to immediately message him with news once he obtained information of the mystical item. After doing all this, Klein found an inn at the port city and got a simple room for himself. Same thing happened to Ince. He also hallucinated grey fog. When? Backland. In the morning, Emlyn walked under his favorite gloomy sky towards 7 Pincer Street. After pulling the doorbell, he straightened his back and waited. When Leonard opened the door, he saw the handsome but detestable face before making way and allowing the visitor to enter. "Have you considered the matter?" Leonard asked. "No problem." Since it wasn't his money, Emlyn had no intention to haggle. He even believed that the attitude displayed by Leonard, there was a high chance of having the price raised if he tried. Leonard nodded and smiled. "Very rich." "I can tell you're trying to lead me to say more." Emlyn scoffed and replied, "That's not something you need to concern yourself with." With that said, he raised his suitcase and opened it, revealing £7,000. Leonard took out each stack and carefully checked it. I don't think these people understand how much fucking time it would take to count £7,000 in £5 notes. As someone who's had to do dog shit like this when I worked at the bank, trust me, you haven't the faintest fucking clue how long it would take. Then he pulled off the red glove he wore on his left hand and handed it to Emlyn. "This is the mystical item you require. It can change color to disguise itself. It's called Tinder. It can raise the wearer's charm, making the words be equipped with great persuasiveness. It can steal the beyonder powers of a target within 50 meters. The more you understand the target, the easier it is to steal the power you want. The less you know, the more random it becomes. And it relies on luck. When the target is sequence 6, there's a chance of failure. The higher the sequence, the higher the chance of failure." At sequence 6, there's a chance of failure? 6? But that's weak. There's also £10 notes? Fine. All the same. That's still 700 notes. Even if they're all £10 notes? Is there also a £50 note? I don't think so. I mean, there might... If there's £50 notes, okay, that's like a big help. After the theft succeeds, the Beyonder will lose that power. It will take at least 12 hours to recover. The owner of Tender will be able to use it adeptly for 10 minutes. I'm 12 minutes behind. This is horrible. And the reason why it's expensive is because it has very few negative effects. "What are the negative effects?" Emlyn asked. "First, when wearing it, there's a small probability of losing something on you. Second, when using it, a particular Beyonder power belonging to you will be lost for at least 12 hours. But during this period, it will be the only Beyonder power lost. In other words, even if it's used repeatedly, there will only be one power lost the entire time. Compared to the artifacts I know of, its negative effects are indeed trivial." Emlyn cleared his throat. "Yeah, but losing something on you. But that's a big deal. Like, what is... Like, can Klein lose fucking creeping hunger if he wears this? Like, that'd be nightmarish. Although, I don't know if Klein plans on keeping it. Could Klein just use it to get rid of the characteristic, or the corruption on the characteristic he needs, and then just sell it back? Maybe not for 7,000, maybe not for 7,500, but like for a lot of money. For like 6,000, 6,500, and then for £1,000 he has a sequence 5 main characteristic. He received Tender and checked it carefully before taking out the stacks of cash from the suitcase and placing them on the coffee table. Following that, he placed the glove into the suitcase and didn't directly take it with him. With the suitcase, Emlyn returned to the Harvest Church like before. Once he entered the priest's break room, he set up the sacrificial ritual. Klein losing Grey Fog after... The glove will be cooked. The negative effects will skyrocket because of the corruption. Nah. It'll be fine. I'm just kidding. The illusory and mysterious door opened as the red glove tore through the dark and deep void and was sent above the grey fog. You know what I was thinking, Dr. Z? I was thinking it's like such a small detail, but Emlyn was so ticked that Klein took his suitcase that this time, instead of just giving him the suitcase with £7,000 and just taking the glove, no. He took all the money out individually and then put the glove in the suitcase and left because he was like, I'm not giving my fucking suitcase away ever again. God damn it, it's mine. Like, God, it's such a small detail, but it like popped in my head. At that moment, the grey fog made contact with the glove. A tiny, distorted, terrifying face appeared. It kept evaporating as it tried to sustain itself. Upon seeing the scene, Klein wasn't surprised. After all, the grandpa residing in Leonard's body was an angel. If Amon could do it, he was quite certain he could do it too. For this, he had made sufficient preparations. He believed that even if the grandpa had really reached Amon's level, he was able to wipe out the corresponding aura without making him sense the existence of the grey fog. Picking up the sea god scepter which had been placed in front of him, Klein made the blue gems light up at the same time from a commanding position. Suddenly, silver light bloomed above the grey fog, and the lightning carried portions of the grey fog power like a storm, zapping the illusory face. The face dissipated completely before it could even cry out, leaving behind a dead translucent worm with 12 rings. Worm of time, but it seems weaker than Amon. Klein muttered as he beckoned with his hand for the red glove and familiar worm to fly to him. After some serious scrutiny, he confirmed that the worm was basically identical to the one Amon's avatar left behind. My dear poet's grandpa is of the same sequence as Amon? Sequence 1? No, not necessarily. Perhaps this is a unique trait of one of the earlier pathways. If it's really a sequence 1, the notion that Amon is the son of the creator and a king of angels makes it possible that he's fused with the uniqueness or has another sequence 1 characteristic. Klein made a guess but was unable to verify it. Klein power scaling worms, true. As for what the dead worm of time could be used for, or when its spirituality would completely dissipate, he could only throw it into the junk pile due to his lack of corresponding knowledge. I'm so surprised that Klein would just keep the dead worm there. I would be too scared. I'd be like, dude, get this shit out of the grey fog. I don't want this here. 7 Pinster Street. Leonard sat on the sofa with his eyes closed. After an unknown period of time, he opened his eyes and said, "What happened? Did you discover the true buyer of Tinder? The aura I left behind has been eliminated. Completely eliminated." "Did you discover something?" Leonard asked. "Nothing. Everything was over before I could even react. If I were in my best shape, I might have been able to grasp some clues. But I've been in a weak state for years." Leonard remained silent before shaking his head, then Will treated as though nothing happened. Bro has a fortune in that junk pile. Dude, if Klein was ever really short of money, how much do you figure that thing could sell for? The scepter. Tens of thousands of pounds at least. Like, that thing might be able to give Klein enough money to become a Sequence 4. Again, the problem with Sequence 4 is you can't really buy everything. Above the grey fog, Klein listened to Emlin's report and took note of the information regarding the item. He fiddled with the glove named Tinder. "This way, I'll have a glove for my right hand," he chuckled. After serious consideration, Klein abandoned the thought of immediately extracting the mental corruption of the true creator. This was to ensure his success. Hoping to leave the chance to the moment he was concocting the Marionettis potion. According to the records of the City of Silver, even without the grey fog screening, there were no problems with such a procedure. Furthermore, with the grey fog, there wouldn't be any additional accidents, even if it were the mental corruption left behind by the true creator. I can also use Tinder normally. Yes, when I need to use it, I'll have to put my cash, pocket watch, and other items above the grey fog. I mustn't let them become lost. In fact, even if I don't do so, the problem isn't too great. I'm a seer. Do I need to be afraid of not being able to find things I dropped? In a normal battle, I'll have Creeping Hunger on my left and Tinder on my right. Just the thought of it sounds formidable. Klein reined in his thoughts and discovered that everything related to the Sequence 5 Marionettis potion was ready, apart from the 2 commonly seen supplementary ingredients. Now I just need to wait for the Faceless to be completely digested, then I'll board the ship of the Admiral of Stars or the Hanged Man and head east for the Sonia Sea to find some mermaids. Bro, you can't put a price on that scepter? You can put a price on everything, Ramiro. shit. Did you know the US government has like valuations of how much an average human life is worth? Like what? There's value on everything, okay? According to, I think it's the EPA, you're worth like give or take $10 million. According to the Ministry of Transportation, you're worth less, something like 7-ish. It's, yeah, there's value on everything. Don't misunderstand. Whether you agree with the valuation is a whole separate issue, but there has to be. Because, you know, you need to do like qualitative analysis and or quantitative rather analysis of stuff. You need to have valuations. Lone Kingdom, Eastchester County, Stone City. Like, it's really cool to say like, oh, like thematically, like, you know, like a human life or like whatever is like, it's infinitely valuable. You know, you can't put a price on it. It's like, bro. Okay. If it was like, okay, a person dies or like $1 billion burns, what would you do? Well, I'd save the person. Okay. What about $1 trillion? I'd save the person. Okay. 10 trillion. Like there's a number. There just has to be, right? I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying I'm not giving a moral qualification on it. I'm just saying. For medical care, only the 3 times the price is acceptable by the government. It fucking sucks. I'd sell one of my kidneys for like 30K. No, that's way too cheap. A kidney's worth way more. Let's see. It's equivalent to to a country or two. Yeah, but like what country? Is it worth to 2 Tuvalus? Tuvalu is the country with the lowest GDP in the world. I think it's something like 78 million or some bullshit. Tuvalu GDP. $63 million, 2023. So like 2 of those, that's like 120 million. Whatever. 2 Sri Lankas. I don't know what Sri Lanka's GDP is off the top of my head. 84 billion. 84 billion. Okay, so 2 Sri Lankas. So that would be 170-ish, let's round a little bit, billion. That's what, 1/3 of Elon Musk's net worth? You're worth Elon Musk's left leg, I guess. Having left the manor, Audrey moved to the villa. After she finished engaging in social gatherings with the local noble, she sent her servant to the Varvat Bank to withdraw some cash. She didn't need to worry about this any further. She could easily pay off the £2,000 owed to the Mr. Fool's Blessed, and pay the 1,800 she owed to the Mr. World for the psychiatrist characteristic. 15 minutes later, Audrey opened the door to her bedroom and glanced at her servant, Annie, who was monitoring the servants as they did their work. She looked down at Susie sitting beside her and said, "Susie, you'll receive a gift in a while. Are you looking forward to it?" If it were in the past, Audrey definitely would have said, "Susie, your presence here," making the golden retriever realize that she could find the actual item in the room as well. Otherwise, it was very easy for Susie, who had been studying the basics of mysticism, to guess that Audrey had used ritualistic magic. How many sequence 4 characteristics would be traded for sequence 3? 3. I'm talking about every resource, all that stuff. I don't know, man. Money doesn't apply to demigods since money is only useful to humans. A demigod could just steal any amount of money they need or take over territory. Maybe. Susie could read the joy and sincere attitude deep inside Audrey's heart. She subconsciously opened her mouth, hoping to stir the air to produce a voice. She wanted to inquire about the gift, but sensed that Audrey's maid Annie was approaching, and Susie abandoned her thought. It's like selling a nuke-making factory with every nuke that you have mind of its own and hurt only those you want. At least 5? She returned to the state of being an ordinary dog and wagged her tail. After making an excuse, Audrey entered a chemistry laboratory she had specially marked for herself, and placed the psychiatrist characteristic and supplementary ingredient on the table. "Susie, do you still remember the potion concocting process?" "I remember." Susie said. Susie already knew what a present was. In her joy, she barked. Try to concoct it for yourself. Susie looked down at her paws and suddenly fell silent. Audrey was taken aback before a brief silence ensued. A few seconds later, before the golden retriever could speak, Audrey covered her mouth and giggled. All right, there's no need to say a word. I know what you want to say. You want to express that you're only a dog. Am I right? How embarrassing, Audrey thought. Yeah, dude, she doesn't have opposable thumbs. So Audrey, what are you doing? Woof, Susie nodded. Audrey took the opportunity and turned around and finished concocting the potion. She had previously asked Susie and learned that she had fully digested the potion on Wednesday. That's less than 2 months. A large reason has to do with how Susie isn't being noticed. She can run around anywhere in the manor and eavesdrop, allowing her to read the true thoughts of the maidservants. That's good. She will always share the tidbits with me. If not for her, I wouldn't have known of the dark sides of many people who appear normal and kind. Susie's a freeloader. Susie's not a freeloader. She's giving Audrey so much info. Wrong. She's a spy. Oh my god. Someone make oh my god. Someone please recommend to a good mangaka Susie the Spy Dog. Oh, that'd be I'd read that for sure. That'd be like Detective Conan on steroids. She watched as Susie went over and began licking the potion. Wait, what? I skipped something. Audrey poured the potion into a bowl and placed it on the floor. She watched as Susie went over and began licking the potion, as she couldn't curb the anticipation in her heart. It's peak, though. Spy X dog. True. Susie might be influenced by the potion and become unstable, but it's alright. Psychiatrist Audrey has already prepared to use placate at any time. Yes, I prefer the name psychoanalysis. That sounds more professional. Audrey stared at Susie with her beautiful eyes with great seriousness and discovered Susie's pupils were gradually fading and turning vertical. After calming her somewhat nervous emotions, Audrey scrutinized Susie's face. As long as something abnormal happened to Susie, she would immediately use her beyond her powers. Suddenly, Susie's voice sounded in her ears. Audrey, I'm done. Audrey was at a loss on what to say. Dude, Susie just digested that. Susie just drank that potion with less problems than Audrey had. In her dream, Daisy returned to Eastborough and to the old apartment she had lived in for years. She pushed open the door and saw her mother, Liv, and Freya, her sister, doing laundry. She instantly became delighted and was about to join them. At this moment, she heard knocking on the door. She turned her head and realized that the visitor was a man in black and white checkered police uniform. The officer had black hair and green eyes. It's Leonard in her dream as a nightmare. In the Capim case, apart from what you mentioned, is there anything else you didn't mention? It's all nothing important, Daisy mentioned. It's fine. I'm willing to listen, the officer said. She honestly described all sorts of trivialities. In the end, she said, after I was abducted, my mother and sister hired a private detective to search for me. Mr. Moriarty. He's a good man. Although he didn't find me, he later contacted a reporter to help me get compensated with the foundation money. The black-haired, green-eyed officer looked up again before smiling. Very good. Your answer is very satisfactory. Do you still remember the private detective's appearance? Daisy nodded. Without any alarm, she saw Detective Moriarty standing beside her. The detective had a thick beard and wore gold-rimmed glasses, almost identical to the one in her memories. As for the black-haired, green-eyed officer, he sized up the image a few times and seemed to vanish at some point without Daisy realizing. For some reason, her sister and mother also vanished. I know those dragon eyes, but my brain just imagined that a dog with... I can't wait for tomorrow's stream. Tomorrow's stream or the one tonight? Oh yeah, tonight we're gonna have a stream, but and then tomorrow we're back to regular timing. No morning stream Thursday though, because it's my graduation. Daisy didn't make a sound as she turned her body and buried her face into the pillow. The person who had entered Daisy's dream was none other than Leonard. Although his investigation of the commonalities of the two cases gave him time to deal with the matters of his own, he didn't forget to act in a perfunctory manner. And he finally discovered a problem. In the Lanavis and Kaplan case, a private detective named Sherlock was involved, including his friend reporter Mike Joseph. Although they had appeared on the outskirts of this matter, it's also a direction for investigation. Mr. Moriarty looks familiar. Which fugitive is he? Leonard recalled what he had seen in his dream as he wore his red glove and entered the basement of St. Samuel Cathedral. Just as he greeted the team captain, Soest, he saw his partner approaching and handed him 2 sheets of paper. This is information regarding the red-eyed man from the Harvest Church. It's all here. Thanks. Want to have lunch together? Leonard asked. No. As long as you stop making me have nightmares. Deal. Leonard smiled. He stood there without being in a hurry to sit down and browse through it. Emmeline White, vampire, currently under the jurisdiction of the Church of the Earth Mother. He once vanished for a period of time. His parents hired a private detective to find him. It was resolved by the famous detective Sherlock Moriarty. Leonard's smile froze on his face. Sherlock? He repeated the name in his mind. We might actually get to meet them. They might get to meet sooner than I expected. Klein wasn't in a hurry to find an opportunity to engage in true acting. He toured Oravi Island's port city with the mindset of a tourist. What do you think is better, Who do you think is a better nightmare? Leonard or Dunn? Dunn for sure. Sanguine, damn it. Vampire. Klein wasn't in a rush to find an opportunity to engage in true acting. He toured Oravi Island City with the mindset of a tourist, finding a brief and rare moment of relaxation. The city had mostly immigrants from Lone. The cuisine wasn't much different from the east coast of the kingdom, with the only difference being there were rare fruits and all sorts of seafood here. This place was rich in natural resources and located in a key location on the safe sea route. The standard of living was pretty good. But this didn't mean they didn't have poor people or the lower class. This class was mainly made up from people who were former slaves. Lone's parliament had long abolished slavery. After chewing a juicy and sweet fruit, Klein watched the sky turn dark. He took a turn at the corner of the street and entered a bar named Sweet Lemon. It was a famous gathering place for adventurers. Klein planned on buying the 2 supplementary ingredients of the Marionnettist potion, the relatively common Drago tree bark and Sonia golden spring water. At this moment, the bar was rather lively. There were people holding up cups around the boxing ring and cheering. Just as Klein was squeezing towards the bar, he suddenly heard his name. I'm Gearman Sparrow. You should know who I am. I received a treasure map. I need to hire some helpers. It's not because I'm afraid, but it's because I can't carry that much treasure alone, a green-eyed man in his 30s said. It was a mystery if they were merchants or adventurers. You're also Gearman Sparrow? Treasure map. That sounds like a scam. My killing of Wormtongue has already reached this place from Bayam? Yes, it looks like it was communicated via telegram or visitors. Many people know my name and deeds, but don't know what I look like. Cheats are using this opportunity to pass themselves off as me. Klein moved over and came to a realization. The green-eyed man drank a mouthful of beer and slammed the glass onto the table. I don't mind whether you refuse or agree, but don't make me wait. Do you want to be like Wormtongue? The man opposite was slightly intimidated. I know you're a powerful adventurer, so? At this moment, he felt his collar tighten as he was lifted up by someone and thrown out the door. Klein didn't provide an explanation as he directly threw the man out the door with a stoic expression. Then he drew his revolver and aimed it at the spot where the man had fallen and pulled the trigger without hesitation. Just as the man fell to the ground, he saw a spark of light near his crotch. He was so frightened that he was swallowing his cursing and scrambled away. Without any explanation, his weak performance proved he wasn't Gehrman. Klein ignored the victim, who stood there in a daze, and politely blew at the mouth of his revolver before stuffing it back. Following that, he slowly walked back to the bar counter in a resulting silent atmosphere. Oh man, he really should say, "I'm Gehrman." Oh man, tell them that. That would be... Or, I guess, no, that doesn't seem like something Gehrman would do. He's too out of his fucking mind to give a shit. He's like, bro, I do what I want, motherfucker. Let's go. Oh, man, Klein is perfect. I know he's... yeah, but he needs to definitely tell them that he's Gehrman somehow. Otherwise, they're just going to be confused. Look at that. We are about, I think, 3 hours ahead of... 3 hours. What the fuck? We're about an hour... we're about half an hour ahead of schedule. That's cool. There's an Adventurers Association? Oh, that's cool. Klein should automatically be like a S-rank hunter. Gehrman is too stoic. He doesn't give explanations. Yeah, that seems more fitting, but, like, it's important for them to know, like, hey, he was fucking lying, bro. It's me. The text said that his weak performance proved that he wasn't Gehrman. Yes. Well, they know that that guy wasn't Gehrman, but they don't know that he is. His photo will soon be in the newspapers, they'll know, I guess. Klein sat in front of the bar counter and slammed his fist on the counter. A glass of Southville beer. The bartender signaled to the bouncers with his eye as he picked up a glass and chuckled. Why don't you try a cup of sweet lemon? Our boss once went to Trier to learn to learn cocktail mixing. He has mastered many of the cocktail recipes left behind by Roselle, and has created the most popular sweet lemon in Oravi. I only drink beer. Oh, okay. Are you an adventurer, sir? Klein nodded. Perhaps you should meet our boss. He's very friendly to new adventurers and is willing to treat them to drinks. Besides, there'll be some aid offered to you. Trier is the capital of Intes? Oh, that makes sense. That's where he learned Roselle's recipes. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. Trier is the... I'll just put that in my notes in the geography section. Did you catch that link of Ints fingernails and that someone dug above the evil spirit red angels? Oh, I did not. Oh, Ints dug there. I don't know what to make of that, though. What would 008's point be? I don't know why 008... I'm not the only person spoiling. True. True. He do be doing that. Seriously, Dr. Z, I don't know. I feel like when you're on your main channel, you hear some mad ravings. You spoil way more on your main channel. You don't spoil at all on here. Oh, by the way, actually no, I'll ask. I'm curious because I want to ask Kami if the background music of Witcher 3 is copyrighted or not. If it's not, I feel like that music would be based as fuck. I gotta ask Kami if I can listen to it. If only I was a mod, I could delete it before. Alright, Nightwalker. Klein, who had come with the intention of purchasing the supplementary ingredients of a marionettist, didn't reject the offer. Instead, he took out a brass penny and flicked it before catching it firmly. He placed the penny on the bar counter as a tip to thank the bartender for the information, and stood up and walked to the second floor under the lead of a bouncer. It's probably because I never liked Volume 3 that much. I don't get that excited. Oh, I see. Okay. That room was covered with a thick brownish yellow soft carpet. There was a faint smell of high-quality coal burning with the aroma of a cigar. So it's a correlation, not a causation sort of issue that we're experiencing with the different accounts. The middle-aged man with the blonde hair combed neatly was leaning back on the chair, sucking at his cigar, surrounded by 6 bodyguards. Although Klein wasn't a beyonder of the spectator domain, he was unable to determine any unique traits or strengths of the bodyguards, nor was he of the mystery prior monster pathway who could see certain secrets. He could notice other things wouldn't be able to discover. Others may not be able to discover. But his spiritual intuition made him believe that these bodyguards were definitely beyonders who could threaten him to a degree. 7 or 8, right, Morpheus? I don't know like someone can tell me. I don't really care. The middle-aged man put down the newspaper and pulled at his collar before standing up. He extended his right hand and said, "Welcome to Oravi, my friend." His blue eyes had a smile to them as he looked rather sincere. Klein extended his right palm and smacked palms without saying a word, waiting for the man to speak. "I'm the boss here, Bilt Brando. I was once an adventurer with considerable strength, but then I took an arrow to the knee. Sorry. I've lived to this day and earned quite a bit." He's confident in his strength, thus daring to say it directly. Klein didn't stand on ceremony as he sat down. Seeing no response from the adventurer, Bilt sat down again and said, "To be honest, there's a motive behind me meeting every new adventurer." He gets pointed to the sea map on the desk. He said with a magnetic tone, "East from the Rorstad archipelago is where the sea gets progressively messier." 4, 6, and 8 are my favorite. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so next one you really like then, Morpheus? I think Romero said 6 is like generally accepted as like the best one. Brando, like Dio Brando, JoJo reference. Everything's a JoJo reference. Fuck yeah. Bar, like the bar that Jonathan Joestar was drinking at. JoJo's reference. He pointed to the sea map on the desk. He said with a magnetic tone, "East from the Rorstad archipelago is where the sea gets progressively messier. The strength of the military and church begins to dwindle to the point of them only being able to protect their own harbors. East of the Rorstad archipelago." So that's the New World, basically. One Piece equivalent, anyway, of this world. Going into geography notes. The sea around here is a pirate playground, extremely disadvantageous to us adventurers. Therefore, I wish to organize everyone to a loosely connected alliance so we can band together when faced with danger. The alliance doesn't have strong terms. You can choose to turn a blind eye when other adventurers encounter danger, and no one will punish you. However, if you encounter a similar situation, don't hope for the help to be provided. New World I don't know what EAI is. In addition, I can promise one point. Adventurers of the Alliance will be able to get the prices of the lowest nature when purchasing from me. When selling their spoils, they'll get at least market price. To save all of humanity? Embers ad infinitum? Is that a... Oh, that's a web novel. Oh, that's also a web novel? I see. By Cuttlefish. After finishing his description, Bilt smiled and said, "What do you think of it? Are you interested in joining this alliance? Don't worry, you don't need to make any payments. Our only purpose is to render assistance when faced with pirates." Klein nodded. "That sounds pretty good." "I think so too. I once thought of naming the association the Adventuring Brotherhood, but felt that Brotherhood is very constrained, so I changed it to Adventurer Association." "Sorry, I forgot to ask your name." "Gearman Sparrow." "Gearman Sparrow?" Bilt's eyes jumped. The guards around him tensed as they thought they were facing a formidable enemy. Bilt composed himself and didn't verify whether he was the real Gehrman or a cheat, and chuckled. Is there anything you want to buy? I have quite a lot of good stuff here. Sonia's golden spring water, Klein said in a calm expression. He didn't mention the Drago tree bark, since there was a high chance of buying the ingredient at herb store. Bilt heaved a sigh of relief. £30 for 100 milliliters. Trust me, even if you head to the Sonia Sea, it'll only be a few pounds cheaper than this. Those barbarians from Faceak have sealed off the resource, so it's difficult for anyone else to get any. Deal. Klein had a rough idea of the spring water, and he knew £30 was very cheap. After completing the deal, Bilt was about to speak after some deliberation when he heard some knocking. After receiving his permission, a bouncer leaned over and entered, and whispering into his ear. Bilt's expression instantly sank as his entire person appeared abnormally cold. He suffused an indescribable killing intent. Oh, he's strong. If he wasn't a famous adventurer in the past, he was a famous pirate. He should at least be a mid-sequencer. Klein looked at him and made a judgment. Mr. Sparrow, I have matters to attend to. We can have drinks together if the opportunity arrives. Okay. Klein got up without any intention of involving himself with the matters. Not that far in. Wait. Of course, this didn't mean he wasn't curious, but curiosity was something that could never change the way he did things. After leaving the Sweet Lemon, Klein returned to his inn. City of Silver, daytime. After Derek Burge finished practicing all the new powers of the Solar High Priest, he followed the edge of the training field and headed for the Twin Towers. After numerous tarot gatherings, he gradually made an understanding of the pattern and roughly knew of the frequency of alternating lightning before he was pulled into the fog by Mr. Fool. Now was the final day. So there's a Tarot Club gathering tomorrow. I feel like the frequency between Tarot Club gatherings is getting shorter and shorter, right? Like, in fairness, Cuttlefish did say this in the last volume's notes, where he was like, listen, I'm not going to go through every single day because it's getting monotonous. I'm going to just skip. I might skip some days and just fast forward to stuff. I have faith in Cuttlefish and we'll keep reading it. How strong do you think sequence zeros are? They're gods. I don't even know how to answer that question, King. Because a god here is not the same as like we think of a god. Because in the, you know what? No, fuck it. I'll do it right now. Because in the historical connotation of God, a god needs to be three things, generally. Whether they're a good god or an evil god, kind of irrelevant, but there's three things. Omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence. It seems like gods in this sequence zeros who are gods are none of those three. They're not omnipotent. They can't just do whatever they want. True Creator is a god, for sure. But he couldn't invade the gray fog. It was like beyond his powers. He's not he can't do whatever he wants. He tried and he got the gray fog to shake, but it was like beyond his powers or beyond his scope, whatever. They're not omniscient. They don't know everything that's happening. Otherwise, the True Creator would know where Klein is instantly and just kill him. But he can't do that because he doesn't know where he is. And then he's definitely not omnipresent, because omnipresent means being everywhere at all times. So he would know where Klein is, but that's not the case either. None of the Orthodox gods claim that, only the omniscient God. Well, yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, in reality, when we think God, we think those three things. Isn't that a very Christian view on God, though? Most gods in mythology weren't all-powerful. Yes, Orthodox gods don't claim to be omnipotent. That's the Abrahamic definition. The only God that fits the description would be the original creator. Yeah, that's fair. The Abrahamic God, that's probably fair. I guess any religion that believes that's polytheistic can't really have that, because if you have several gods, it kind of doesn't work. Because how does omnipotence fight against omnipotence? It kind of doesn't make any sense. So I don't know. How strong would they be? Definitely 5th dimensional. Possibly 6th. Yeah, that's about it. I don't know. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how to describe it. Because of this, he had to go to the library and read the historical information involving ancient gods so as to offer them to Mr. Fool. I'm just pointing the difference. Yeah, no, I get that. After passing through the partitioned area of the training field, Derek subconsciously looked inside and saw exploration members resting inside. It was the exploration team led by the 6-member council, Call and Iliad. They had recently finished the exploration based on the information received from Jack, and they had returned to the City of Silver and were now in quarantine. Derek retracted his gaze with a somewhat heavy heart and went all the way to the steeple to the 3rd floor. He was just about to walk to the bookshelf that held all the ancient books when he caught a figure standing through the corner of his eye. It was none other than the elder of the 6-member council, imprisoned for a long time, Lovia Tiffany. "Greetings, Elder Lovia." He lowered his head. "I've been removed from quarantine." She turned and left after calmly saying that, as though making an announcement. Why has she been released? The 6-member council determined she's all right? Derek thought as his nerves tensed up. Monday morning, above the gray fog. How much destruction can they cause? Oh, sure. Continental level, let's say? Yeah, I would put them at continent level. Monday after, no. Yeah, continental. Continental feels fair. Monday morning, above the gray fog. And the crimson lights before receded into blurry figures. Then he heard Miss Justice's brisk greeting. "Good afternoon, Mr. Fool." Oh, wait, actually, sorry. Oh, sorry, Morphe. Oh, no, sorry. Okay, hold on. Let me preface what I said. Hold on. I just realized what I said must sound very stupid. Hold on. No. Hold on. Okay. So I was thinking that, like, if a god just wanted to cause destruction, but then the other gods were trying to stop him, they could probably destroy an entire continent before they were, like, stopped or put down. That's what I was thinking in my head. Hold on. If I'm saying, like, a god, like a sequence 0 just wanted to do destruction, could just do whatever he wanted, and no one else was trying to stop him. Sorry. I should have clarified that. Yeah, I realized what I said just sounded incredibly stupid. Sorry. So a sequence 1's remnant powers can cause infinite looped time. Can we do 617 today? We can push it. Fuck it. We've got time, I think. Yeah, we've got time. Fuck it. We'll do 617, no problem. So, if we're giving them that, then a sequence 0 is solar system level, probably at that point. Maybe higher. Maybe galaxy level. I don't know. Sorry. Yeah, I was thinking, like, how much damage could they do before being stopped? That was like that was a dumb way of going about that thought or process. Now that I think about it. Solar system or galaxy level, something like that. That probably feels fair. While Miss Justice was doing the greetings, the hermit cat Leia maintained her silence as she observed. Tend to overrate. Grade 0 artifact die can... well, it didn't say it can destroy the whole world. It said it can alter the fate of all beings. But it's also made from the uniqueness of a god. So, like, it's got to have, like, a portion of his power. I don't know what portion that looks like. I don't know whether it's 25% or 50% or 10% or 4%. I don't know. But assuming it's like a quarter or something, I feel like galaxy or solar system level feels fair. All the gods are keeping each other in check. Yes, exactly. That's what I was going off of when I said continental. I was like, well, the other gods will probably stop them pretty quickly. But okay. She watched Miss Justice conjure the Roselle diary pages to pay off her previous debt. Then she carefully glanced at Mr. Fool without daring to look directly at him. Yet she still wasn't able to see further through the special gray fog. Her dark purple eyes were only capable of seeing clothes that were definitely conjured. With the 3 pages of Roselle's diary, Klein wasn't in a rush to read it like before. After all, he had already interacted and used a Grade 0 sealed artifact, and knew what the uniqueness of a Beyonder pathway looked like. He had even intimidated such an artifact, so he believed that regardless of Roselle's content, there was nothing that could shock him. Now that he said that, we're gonna get some shocking shit. Unless he was given a demoness's blessing by some powerhouse or unique ability to temporarily become a woman, Klein joked. Ma'am Hermit's curiosity is different from Miss Justice and Company's. She's paying a lot of attention to Roselle's diary. Klein retracted his gaze and took note of his discovery, then read the notebook. April 22nd, we plan on entering to explore the abyss. We followed a pitch-black ocean and passed through the liquid-like fog and arrived at the mountain peak, which resembled a monster. Behind it was endless fog. It seemed to blanket an entire continent. However, looking at the bottom of the cliff, looking at the bottom of the peak, it makes it seem endless and without limit. I had joked with Edwards that if I were to commit suicide by jumping off the cliff, I might never fall to the ground and be stuck in forever in a state of falling. I'm really sorry if you can hear my nephew crying. Upon seeing this, Klein nearly pricked up his eyebrows. He couldn't believe that Roselle would dare to organize his knights to explore the periphery of the region after seeing the abyss. Isn't he afraid of dying? Legend has it, it's a place that can corrupt anything. At this stage, Roselle hasn't reached Sequence 4. He isn't even a demigod, at best, Sequence 5, or even lower. If it were me, I definitely would have turned the boat around and reported it. In that instant, Klein got a deep understanding of the difference between him and Roselle. Yeah, Roselle's a giga chat. He said, "Nah, I'd win." After seeing the abyss that can corrupt fucking gods, he was like, "Nah, I'd win." In addition, Roselle's description of the abyss's periphery had reminded Klein of the mysterious stone door of Amon's mausoleum. A similar scene had appeared after the Church of Storm and Machinery's Archbishop Hormic's puppet made contact with it. I wonder what Roselle discovered there. At the very least, he didn't die from his exploration. He had an exciting life after that. Klein moved down. April 24th, we proceeded down the peak in an attempt to probe deeper. The thick black fog, the fog that he keeps mentioning, could this be the... No, I don't know. Sorry, I was going to say something with the gray fog, but then no, gray fog has to do with the Hornaces Peak, which we know where it is, like geographically, so it can't be that. The thick black fog is bitingly cold, as though it can erode flesh and soul. Luckily, the Dark King I'm onboarded has certain items that can resist the corruption. Or I'll suspect that my Knights of the Apocalypse will become members of Farron's Undead Legion. What the fuck is Farron's Undead Legion? It has a footnote, so I'll check it out at the end. It's very quiet, but we didn't discover anything. April 25th, we saw devils, but they were in the form of rotting corpses. Behind the black jagged mountain, below a slush-filled opening that one cannot call a path, there were different devil corpses that were either normal or in unimaginable places. Abyss sounds like exploring like a mine shaft with your boys in Minecraft. That's what it sounds like. Okay, sounds awesome. It was as though they had been killed at the same moment. April 26th. Either corpses or silence. There's no end up ahead. The items on the Dark King have begun to show signs of corruption. Is the Dark King the name of Roselle's ship? What is the Dark King? Ancient city exploration? True. Abyss sounds like... I've seldom had fear over the past few years, but here... The ship is the Dark King? Okay, thank you. I've seldom had fear over the past few years, but here, the fear of the unknown is like an invisible hand clasping my heart tightly. I have to leave. I have to return. I can't stay any longer. What happened after this? Roselle was successful in escaping the abyss's periphery? Or did he encounter something else? What does the abnormality over there symbolize? An intense battle? Klein subconsciously had the sense of anticipation as he flipped to the second page, only to be let down that it wasn't connected. My beloved Bernadette grows older. Are we gonna get something? Are we gonna get something? Come on, give me some confirmation that Castilla is working for Bernadette. Come on. 8th May. My beloved Bernadette is almost 2. The older she grows, the more likable she is. She is indeed a young lady who doesn't let down the excellent genes of her mother and I. That's such a weird thing to say. Having her clearly call me daddy and seeing her bubbly figure, I can suddenly feel a sense of satisfaction. Castilla? Catlea? What is Castilla then? Oh yeah, Catlea. What is Castilla? I don't know. Ever since I transmigrated to this world, I've done many things. I can say that some aren't honorable, but I've never felt any shame, nor have I regretted anything. On the other hand, this has to do with me finding Castilla's an age of... Oh, I see. Okay, thank you. Goddamn, Catlea's name is hard for me to remember. On one hand, this has to do with me finding it difficult to curb my desires, making it easy for me to be influenced by my environments. I have to thank fate that I've not met a desire apostle from the devil pathway. According to the records, I would definitely succumb to Beyonders of this sequence. I might even instantly die. Yeah, Roselle, you would. Klein already made this joke. Cattle, yeah. On the other hand, I have some sense of alienation in this world. My parents in the real world are very nice. I've worked hard to make them proud, but I know my feelings for them aren't substantial. Similarly, this is how I treat Matilda. It's more a possessive instinct rather than love. Yeah, this is some Matilda shit for sure, bro. I have to admit that my mental state is like playing an RPG game. My parents, brothers, friends are all NPCs. I can devote some feelings to them, but never anything serious. Therefore, I can join all kinds of corrupted gatherings without any guilt. I can face people I know I can face people I know well in a cold, ruthless manner. Like when I played the Elder Scrolls, I could slaughter an entire village for a chicken. Wait. Hold on. I've got a scene for this. Okay, I'm not going to show all of it because I'm probably going to get copyright struck into oblivion, but all the same.
Bring me one of those chickens.
You got money to pay for it?
You paid for it?
No. But we're the king's men. So, you got money?
Not a penny. I'll still take that chicken. You're a talker. Listening to talkers makes me thirsty.
I just want to get to the part where he says, like, if you say another word, I'm gonna have, or like, you willing to die for a chicken? Someone's gonna. I love that.
I'm hungry. Think I'll take 2 chickens.
You don't seem to understand the situation.
Oh, come on.
I understand that if any more words come pouring out your cunt mouth, I'm gonna have to eat every fucking chicken in this room.
You lived your life for the king. You're gonna die for some chickens.
Someone is.
I love that so much. Someone is, motherfucker. It ain't me. Oh, that was so good. People died for less. People die for nothing, man. Don't let that be your standard, okay? People die for anything. On the other hand, I still... Yes, I could slaughter an entire village for a chicken, exactly. But after Bernadette was born, I realized that I had an additional sense of belonging to this world. I was no longer as estranged from before. This is my child, a living child of mine. Perhaps this is the so-called maturity. Without children, it's impossible to realize this feeling. No, I don't even have a girlfriend. I have to be alert about the state of mind mentioned in this diary. It might not exist in the past, but it doesn't mean it wouldn't appear in the future. The higher the sequence, the greater one's godhood is than their humanity. January 6th, a brand new year, a new beginning. After advancing to artisan, I have finally found the powers to do that thing. Artisan. Do I have this sequence in my thing? Is this the one that the horror make is on? Artisan. Sequence 6. Wow, he's only sequence 6? Bro, get your shit up. This is to say that the mysterious silver plate in my memories. This is to create this mysterious silver plate in my memories. There's a high chance that transmigration was a result of it. In fact, after I became a savant, I could already recall its appearance, as well as the strange symbols and patterns on it. But the past me, I could clearly sense that I wasn't able to replicate something like this. Queen, how's it going? January 9th, after I finally succeeded after repeated failures. Holding the silver plate filled with special symbols and patterns, I tried hard to inject my spirituality into it in a bid to activate it. An endless grey white fog seemed to appear before my eyes, but nothing happened. Is it a problem with the material, or am I lacking some requisites? What? Roselle almost entered the grey fog? January 10th, according to my recollections of the transmigration experience, I restored my past state, believing that I no longer lacked anything. But the mysterious silver plate only showed me the strange grey fog. It wasn't able to help me do anything else. Since this doesn't work, how did I succeed in my transmigration back then? I temporarily gave up my attempts and destroyed the silver plate I created. Perhaps when I'm a high sequencer and become a demigod, I'll have a way to interpret those symbols and find out the truth about my transmigration. Yes, I'll definitely become a demigod. I'm the protagonist of this era. So they could both see the grey fog. But why could Roselle not enter it? Is it because he was off the wrong pathway to enter it? No, the pathway can't be the thing. The other Tarot Club members are joining. So Roselle's missing something that that Klein has. But it seems like it was in effect given to both of them, meaning it was given to all transmigrators. Let's put it that way. But if that's the case, what do you think the difference in character of Klein? Yeah, of course, yeah. What would I don't know why. I'm thinking like some god or something. I don't know which god would have the ability to like affect the multiverse, basically, because that's what's happening. Shut the fuck up, Nightwalker. Maybe, like in my mind, yes, I'm gonna write that down. In my mind, it feels like a god, or like if it's real, then like a super god, was somehow able to affect the multiverse, picked a transmigrator, first Roselle, then Klein, or maybe at the same time, really, and just plopped them in different points in time. Because I think it said that like Klein and Roselle were taken in the real world like maybe a year apart or something, like or maybe 2 years, like a very short amount of time, and put them in this world. As a result of putting them here, like if they brought them here, they were like, okay, well, you know, they're at a huge disadvantage because they don't have like a lot of stuff. They don't know about this world, so we'll give them like a special quality. We'll give them the gray fog. But why was Klein able to access it, but Roselle wasn't? What? The Emperor saw the endless grayish-white fog after replicating the mysterious silver plate from Earth? Klein's eyes shrank when he read the entry. There happened to be an immutable, endless gray fog beneath his feet. Could it be that our transmigrations have something to do with with this mysterious space? But why was the Emperor unable to enter, but I can? According to the Emperor's diary entries of the last few stages of his life, he didn't crack the mystery of the silver plate. Otherwise, he wouldn't have not thought of this place when he was in his moment of great despair and mania. He wouldn't have not used it as a crutch. Klein raised his head as his gaze landed outside the palace. He recalled that deep in the mysterious space there was a staircase of light that seemed to lead to heaven, and corresponded to his sequence. The staircase appeared to be built for giants, but its destination was the grey fog, which seemed to support something that stood in the mid-air. The secrets of our transmigration lie there. Klein made the diary entry in his page vanish and said, "You may begin." Derek originally wished to bring forward his request to purchase a Sequence 6 potion formula for Solar High Priest, but Elder Lovia's release made him temporarily abandon his request. Why does he want a Sequence 6 formula already? He just became 7. Seems too fast. Considering how this was still the transaction segment, he held back his desire and waited in silence. There's something on the little son's mind. Something unexpected happened in the City of Silver. Audrey thoughtfully retracted her gaze and similarly didn't make a request. Yet the ingredients always be prepared? Yeah, I guess. At this moment, Alder surveyed the area and said, "I need the potion formula for an ocean songster." Indeed. He's already a Sequence 6, wind blessed. Isn't he someone from the Church of Storm? Why is he looking for the ocean songster potion somewhere else? Obtaining it internally is so much easier. He has secrets he wishes to keep from the Church of Storm? Or is he just pretending to be someone from the Church of Storm? Cattleya had many theories in her head. "I can help you take note," Cattleya said. Upon hearing the hermit's response, Alder said, "Is there anything you need?" "I can search for clues ahead of time, so as to trade for the potion formula." Let me put that entire Roselle diary into my notes. Cattleya conspiracy theories? Alder, yeah. There's no conspiracy theories, okay? Alder is in love with Cattleya. That's all that's happening. $616. Okay, 2 more chapters and then we're done. Because Romero said we need to read 616 at the same time. I guess that's the end of the Tarot Club, so it's just better to read it all together, I would venture to guess. Okay. Oh, by the way, I don't think there's anyone new, but I'll mention it all the same. If you guys are interested, consider joining our Discord, link in the description. I give heads up for when we're going live. We talk about Lord of the Mysteries. I ask a lot of questions. We play Minecraft also. I don't know where the last one came from, but I'm so here for it. I haven't played Minecraft in so long. The more I think about it, the more Alder and Hermit sound like a good couple. Yes, thank you! What do I need? Cattleya silently chuckled. Alder needs Any needs meant clues, ignoring the fact that I've already obtained the potion formula for sequence 4 mysticology. Whoa, she has a sequence 4 formula? And accumulating points for one of the main ingredients, even without anything. I have no lack of corresponding resource channels, and far more than one. Cattleya had another thought as she recalled the sea god scepter which the fool wielded and said, I need a mystical item at the demigod level, the kind with acceptable side effects. At that instant, Alger nearly retorted, asking her not to make a joke. I'm not in Discord, so that is useful. Oh, okay, cool. If I had an item at the demigod level without any real negative side effects, why wouldn't I keep it for me? Alger knew that the hermit was using mockery to respond to his attempts for sounding her out. He took a deep breath and said, I'll keep an eye out. But ma'am, you should know very well that just as an effective clue towards such an item might be enough to cover the cost of an ocean songster formula. Very stead, not easily angered. Different from the usual style of the Church of Storm. Was my conclusion wrong? He's only disguising himself as a priest of Storm? No, I can't think of it like that. This might also be because he doesn't flare up under the Fool's watch. Or maybe he's just an odd one out in the Church of Storm. Cattleya wasn't greedy. She said, I know. As the conversation between the two came to an end, no one made any more requests during the transaction segment. A number of members already had means to obtain whatever they needed, so there was no need to make requests. It was mainly Audrey and Fours who were waiting for their subsequent potion formulas. Another reason stemmed from the financial situation or circumstance, and they weren't able to make any early expenditures. This included Emlyn, who was filled with the desire of a sanguine Viscount's inheritance, as well as Miss Magician, who wanted a mystical item. Indeed, as everyone slowly cast off their statues as low-sequence beyonders, or statuses as low-sequence beyonders, advancements are no longer that fast. The rate of transactions will drop rapidly. In the past, there was basically 1 or 2 weeks deals a week, but now it might be 2 or 3 weeks. In the future, there might even be 3 or 4 months. Without knowing whether it was better or worse, Klein gently nodded and indicated it was time for free exchange. Have so much anger issues that not having them is suspicious. True. Man, I can't believe I originally thought that was the coolest church. I was so wrong. Audrey looked at Derek and waited for him to describe the unexpected situation at the City of Silver. Derek didn't let her down. Before anyone could speak, he said, Elder Lovia has been released. I encountered her at the library. Elder Lovia has been released? Using flesh and blood, the entire team that she led was corrupted, so how could she be without problems? What is the 6-member council thinking? Klein originally wanted to say something along the lines of, if there's nothing wrong with Lovia, I'll chop my head off and gift it to the true creator. But he rationally changed his thoughts. I don't have to be that careful with me above the grey fog, he sighed inwardly. Elder Lovia has been released? The shepherd? Audrey asked. Back then, the little son had used Blasphemer Amon's possession and Mr. Fold's help to expose the fact that the entire exploration team had been corrupted by the true creator. As for the team, it was led by Lovia. Her job as a shepherd happened to correspond to the secret suppliant pathway of the true creator. Which church organization is your favorite now? That's actually a good point. I hate to be obvious, but Evernight probably right now. Although I really don't like their symbol. It's so basic. No, Evernight is fine actually. No, I'm misremembering. Evernight is fine. Yes, Derek nodded. Alger thought for a moment and asked, has your chief returned? If the chief has yet to return and they have decided without his consent, it goes to show the situation is more terrible than one can imagine. It was so terrible that they couldn't await his return. If the chief has returned, the only reason for releasing Lovia has a high chance to do with the outcome of the exploration. Why didn't I think of this? Audrey, you're still lacking in experience. Yes, not long ago. At this moment, Forrest, who had been listening quietly, asked, Mr. Sun, could this be the situation? Your chief led the exploration team and the little boy Jack to seek out a path that leads to the real world, but they realized the power of the true creator is required. This isn't a lie I'm fabricating, but an inference. The father of that boy belonged to the Aurora Order, and they were seeking the holy residence before arriving. Therefore, for the entire city of Silver, your chief decided to release the shepherd. If that's really the case, Mr. Sun would be in grave danger, Audrey said. Aldrich shook his head. No, I have the opposite belief. Miss Magician's inference is identical to my theory, but I believe it will make it safer for the Sun. Why? Derek asked. The danger of the true creator is noticeable by any sentient creature with eyes and a brain. Your chief definitely will not put all his chips on him. He needs a force that can counterbalance the true creator. As for you, the one who exposed their ploy, you were possessed by the blasphemer Amon, so you might represent another possibility. The more Lovia and company wish harm on you, the more Chief and the others will protect you. This way, they would turn a blind eye to whatever suspicious aspects you didn't manage to erase. This ends up being a silver lining? Forrest was stunned. Mr. Hangman makes a lot of sense. The true creator's not dangerous? Yes, of course, he just wants to corrupt everything, but he's great, love him. When it comes to analyzing matters, I'm still far from matching him, Audrey felt. For the rest of the members, Emlyn didn't know much about Lovia, and had a hard time keeping up, but he knew about Jack and the repeated cycles, so he could roughly understand. In order to break out of the City of Silver's conundrum, they released a danger that the true creator is involved in. Emlyn inwardly made a guess. Compared to him, Cattleya couldn't understand a word. I have a feeling of admiration despite my incomprehension of what they said. The last time I had this feeling was several years ago. Back then I was still pretty weak. There were some inklings in the previous tarot gathering, especially so when involved in the City of Silver. But never has it been this serious. Man, I really want to see Alder as the Spectator Pathway Beyonder. He'd be so good. Also, why are they discussing the true creator and the blasphemer Amon so naturally? It should be the blasphemer Amon I know of. They're only mid-sequence Beyonders. What have they done in the past? Cattleya's confidence as a powerhouse suffered a setback in that moment. After hearing the Hangman's analysis, Derek asked, could this be the result of our City of Silver being destroyed by the fallen creator? That possibility can't be ruled out, the Hanged Man said. Then what do I do? Derek asked. Under the situation of us not understanding what your chief and the others have planned, I cannot provide any suggestions, but I don't think you need to be in such a panic. Alder raised his glance to look at the fool, who was silently looking at the members. Tracing his gaze, Derek subconsciously looked over at the fool. He instantly felt a sense of serenity. He couldn't help but recall that holy and powerful angel. Cattleya reevaluating. Yeah, exactly. She's like, fuck, they're stronger than I thought. Oh, they might be weak in power, but their influence is big. Although I've foiled several of the true creator's ploys, I'll definitely not last a second if I were to really clash with him. The situation will devolve into the fool coming into the doorstep, but the true creator finding the fool completely lacking. Klein maintained his casual listening without saying a word or showing an expression. Immortal, venerable, great love vibes. Immortal, venerable, is that not the title of the Feng Yuan? Or is it similar? I don't know. I haven't read RI, so, I don't know. Mr. Hangman, thank you for your help. I will try to figure out what the chief and the others are planning. It is RI? Okay. With the matters coming to an end, Cattleya deliberated before saying, was the blasphemer Amon you were talking about referring to the ancestor of the Amon family? The son of the creator? Son of the creator? Audrey was stunned by what the Hermitess said. She turned her head to the side of the long bronze table and discovered the fool sitting there calmly, as though he was tacitly confirming Amon's other identity. It is? Ah, I see. Okay. The mysterious Adam. Are we going to get some Adam lore? Oh, God. Please, Adam, be the opposite of Amon and be a good man. Come on. You know, we all know the good brother, bad brother trope. Come on. Be good, please. We could really use the help right now. Klein's situation is looking more and more hopeless the more you think about it. I love Oravi. I haven't read it. I do want to, but it's so long, and it doesn't have an ending. I don't know how much more great cinema without an ending I can take. Oh, I don't know how much more I can take. Vagabond and Monster have ruined me. I don't know if I can do any more. I don't know if my heart can bear it. The son of the creator. Audrey was stunned. But he didn't directly inquire any further because this could expose some things. The son of the creator? Forrest asked with piqued interest. She never expected that Amon had such a shocking identity. Aside from titles like Blasphemer and King of Angels, she was filled with curiosity. Cattleya said, legend has it that back when the original creator split into various deities and races, his body produced 2 babies. One of them was the blasphemer Amon. The mural inside the mausoleum was somewhat different from your description. Back then, Amon and Adam were born. The true creator had just awoken and withdrew the authorities of the ancient gods. He was seated high on a holy mountain and was surrounded by angels as they praised him. There was no sign of him dying or splitting. The murals that have something in common with the City of Silver's historical records. Perhaps the creator really has awoken twice. And perhaps the original creator and Amon's father, the creator as recorded by the City of Silver, aren't the same person. Both of them have an inheritance relationship. Good point. Klein began to theorize. Amon is actually the son of the creator. Such a status is in no way inferior to the true gods. As for the fool, our tarot club was able to purify his avatar and stop his possession. Audrey recalled the past matters and suddenly felt that she had unknowingly exceeded many ordinary beyonders. Money, how's it going, man? We're glad to have you. The circles and levels of knowledge were exposure that the two groups had differed by more than 100 times. Ma'am, she asked with a piqued interest, Ma'am Hermit, do you know the other son of the creator? Adam. Audrey was taken aback because her question required a yes or no. After receiving confirmation that she knew, she would ask for the details and make it clear she was willing to pay for it. Who knew the hermit would just give her the name? I've never heard of an important figure named Adam. I haven't either. Apart from being recorded as the son of the creator, it's like he never appeared. There are no traces of him in the 4th epoch. This Adam is very mysterious. I am already rather well versed in the 4th epoch's 3 empires, Solomon, Tudor, Truonst, as well as the angel families that come under them. I've never heard of him before. If it wasn't for Eridus, who live-streamed the Church of Steam and Machinery's exploration, I wouldn't have even known his name. Has he long perished, or is he hidden in the dark? Audrey subconsciously glanced at the hanged man and discovered him shaking his head too. Amon is the king of angels, so it doesn't make sense for Adam to not be one. There should be records in the City of Silver. Audrey looked at Derek. And Derek understood what was on Justice's mind and said, we don't know about Adam, just like how we didn't know about Amon. I was searching for ancient tomes related to kings of angels, but I believe I'm lacking in clearance because my sequence was still low at the time. I'll continue searching for information on this. Kings of angels. Cattleya moved her fingers indiscernibly as she memorized the phrase. She knew that Miss Justice would definitely answer if asked, so without waiting, she said, Amon is a king of angels that you're all referring to? Yes. To thank Ma'am Hermit for her generosity, Audrey explained in detail. In the records of the City of Silver, the creator had many angels attending to him. Among them was the leader of the angels who were closest to the throne of God were deemed kings of angels. We haven't managed to confirm any king of angels. One of them is the angel of fate, Ouroboros, who originates from the ancient tomes of the City of Silver. His title is Tail Devourer. Second is Medici, who Mr. Fool happened to mention. We're still unsure of his title. The third is a guess. We suspect Amon is the angel of time. Since he's the king of angels, Adam, who is also the son of the creator, is likely to be one. I haven't managed to confirm many. I don't even know the term kings of angels, but you've already grasped half of them? That's not many? None of your sequences are higher than mine. Cattleya became speechless. Only at this point did Emlyn really understand the meaning of a king of angel. He decided to use these words to seek out traces of the kings of angels via his secret historical records the Sanguine possessed. Cattleya fell silent for 2 seconds before saying, "Mr. Sun, you were once possessed by Amon?" "Yes, it was his avatar. However, he was purified by Mr. Fool before I was injured." "Purified by Mr. Fool?" She originally imagined that she had a rough idea of the Fool's state, believing that he was still in a state of reawakening and wasn't able to use much power. She literally has the dead same theory as Alger. Tell me they're not a one-for-one perfect couple. But this was why he sought the identity of the sea god and the scepter, but the present situation shook the foundations of her speculation. She felt that Mr. Fool was like an iceberg. What was hidden beneath the surface was even more terrifying and unfathomable. He easily thwarted Amon's plans. Under certain situations, he can briefly break out of the restriction and produce strength at the level of a god. Cattleya's heart sank. She didn't ask any further, and she cautiously shut her mouth. Audrey thought of something else that puzzled her and asked, "Ma'am Hermit, after the Amon's avatar was purified by the Fool, a worm with 12 transparent rings was left behind. It's said to be a worm of time. Is that correct?" "Yes." "Which pathway does it belong to? Which pathway does the blasphemer belong to?" "The Marauder pathway." Confirmation. Already knew it. Let's go. Divination is unbeaten. Okay, it has someone fucking, I don't know. I'm in time. Someone is gonna write songs about my divinations. You know, Klein, if you need some divination lessons, just hit me up, okay? We can work something out. Legend has it that at the level of saint or angel, they're able to fool fate and cheat the rules, becoming a parasite of time. Then what can a worm of time be used for? Nice question. Klein secretly cheered for Miss Justice. Where is the acting for clown sequence, though? What do you think all these memes I'm showing you are, bro? It's a material with rich spirituality and unique effects. It can be used in particular sequences or to create a high-level charm. As for how, I'm not sure. She recalled the nightmare of being constantly pursued by knowledge, as well as the massive amount of information that seemingly burst out of her brains. But even so, she still didn't know a lot. Get that tinfoil hat for clown acting? If the hidden sage hadn't gone mad and provide knowledge bit by bit, I'll actually be more than happy to learn from him, Cattleya sighed. All that matters is that it's useful. As for how it's used, I have other people to consult. Klein controlled the world and looked at Emlyn. "Mr. Moon, I have something that I would like to communicate with you in private." "Aren't the transactions over?" Emlyn nodded. "Okay." The world immediately requested the Fool's permission and successfully obtained the privilege of isolating everyone. "I wish for you to present to me every action which Leonard Mitchell made in your memories." "Why?" Emlyn asked. "It involves certain secrets." His true goal wasn't to buy the item, but to observe Leonard Mitchell? This guy has deep secrets. For an investigation, he was willing to spend £7,500? That item is powerful. Isn't the world constantly seeking a way to eliminate the mental corruption of a Beyonder characteristic? This is likely useful. Emlyn suppressed his thoughts and recalled Leonard Mitchell from his point of view. With Mr. Fool's help, he conjured a video in the form of streaming lights. When the streaming lights landed in front of the world's hands, Klein quickly breezed through them. He confirmed that Leonard really knew the existence of the Grandpa, but was unable to determine if he understood the danger. Temporarily presenting Emlyn being smart? Nah. Temporarily suppressing the corresponding thoughts, Klein removed the isolation barrier and allowed the tarot members to continue. Audrey asked Forrest, Miss Magician, did you discover any abnormalities? That will require Mr. World to answer you, Forrest said. Mr. World replied, there were abnormalities. I've already informed the Church of the Evernight and Church of Steam. If there are any problems, I might require your help. All right, Audrey heaved a sigh of relief. Informed the Church of Evernight and Steam. Cattleya found the description ludicrous. From what she knew, organizations like the Tarot Club were the natural enemy of official Beyonders. There was no room to compromise between the two. But the world had dealt with it. The words he used made it seem like the Tarot Club was an organization that cooperated with the official Beyonders. Colored by these feelings, she listened to the rest of the conversation before bowing and bidding farewell to the fool. Soon, Klein was the only one above the gray fog. Let's go, boys! We finished like 50 minutes ahead of schedule. That is crazy good. We read an extra chapter and still finished half an hour early. That's amazing. Milos, you came just as we're finishing up, man. Alright. Okay. Man, we're making so good timing recently. What the fuck? Okay, on that note, I just finished watching... I don't know what that is. Ending stream? Yeah, one more. Nah. We did 10 chapters. Bro. I gotta rest, okay? Alright. I'm gonna leave it there, guys. Thank you so much for another fantastic stream. I'm gonna leave it there. Next stream when? 8.5 hours, something like that. Wanderer. If you're in the Discord, I'll give a heads up either way. You coming for MC after? I will join the server later, Ramiro, but in like an hour or two. Not right away. That's it. Thanks everyone for another fantastic stream. Hope you all have a great rest of your day or nights, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Love y'all.